The WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel Game of the Week. Tonight's Gridiron clash, the Keystone Wildcats facing the Columbia Raiders. It's brought to you by Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. Lorain County Community College, real education for good jobs. And by Stewart's TV and Appliance, 468 Cleveland Street in Elyria. And happy Friday. Welcome out to LaGrange, where we have Week 8 Lorain County League action here in Northern Ohio. It is the Keystone Wildcats taking on the Columbia Raiders. Happy Friday again, everybody. I'm Rocco Nuosci. To my right, the one and only Jantz with Gary Pelter. I'm sorry, not Gary Pelter, Dave Rydell and Jared Kozar on site. Gary Pelter elsewhere. Appreciate his efforts on last night's broadcast. We were over at Bay taking in some Rockets and North Olmsted football. But here tonight in LaGrange, it is the Keystone Wildcats and the Columbia Raiders. Folks, first place in the Lorain County League is on the line tonight. Both teams enter with a conference record of 4-0, so we are certainly looking forward to seeing how this matchup plays out tonight. Again, a big thanks to all of our sponsors, as you heard there in the intro. Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. Lorain County Community College, real education for good jobs. And Stewart's TV and Appliance, 468 Cleveland Street in Elyria. We'll take our first time out here. When we return, we'll begin our talks with each side's head coach. First up, it'll be from the visitors, Columbia Raider head football coach Mike Rice. He joins us after this timeout. Again, it's the WEOL Gridiron Clash, our WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel Game of the Week here in LaGrange. It's Keystone and Columbia. We'll be right back with Mike Rice, head coach of the Raiders, after this.
Hi, Tim Elmore, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of Eco Tree Services. In a few hours, Eco Tree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at Eco Tree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact Eco Tree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Welcome back to our pregame show here on WEOL.com and on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Here in Week 8, it is the Columbia Raiders heading to Keystone to take on the Wildcats. Let's talk some Raider football with their head coach, Mike Rice. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time here on the pregame show. And look, I mean, we've talked about you guys a lot this season, right? Undefeated overall, unbeaten still within conference play. But Keystone has similar bragging rights of their own so far, right? They were 4-0 in conference play as well. And just kind of want to start with that, right? I mean, since the creation of this Lorain County League, you've seen it, right? It's pretty much been Keystone and you guys dominating this league as far as football is concerned, again, since the creation of this Lorain County League. So obviously, I think in my mind, that creates some very stressful, but also special matchups with these guys as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But at the same time, that's why we do it. And these are the moments we want to be in. And, you know, we're excited for the opportunity. I think our guys have done a great job this year to put themselves in this position, to be in this big moment. And, it's great. It's great to have the competition, and we're looking forward to a tough, hard-fought game that we know we're going to have to play great to win and earn.
Now, I know how you coaches operate, right? You guys always keep things very even keel, steady head, you know, as the season goes on. But for the kids, I got to imagine there's maybe a little bit of extra energy this week, or maybe you saw some extra energy from the kids throughout practice this week?
Yeah, there's certainly, we try and keep them focused, on a high level every week in and week out. And there's a season is long, so it's going to have its ups and its downs, but this is not a week where we have to really challenge them much to get up or to get focused. They know what's at stake, and that, you know, the biggest thing is focusing on this one game that we have control over, and we realize the situation we're in, and we're excited about that, and we want to put ourselves in the driver's seat to take a league title.
Now, I know offensively, if we could talk about that side of the ball here first, no Logan Mengi the rest of the way. I see you got Sanders listed as the starter for tonight, and that's, been the case the last couple of weeks, without your starting quarterback, at least from the start of the season. What's been, how has navigating that challenge gone for you guys? You've still put up some big numbers offensively, so it seems like, obviously that's a big loss, right? But seems like you guys are stepping up as need be.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you feel for the kid. I mean, Logan, he did so much work and continues, honestly, to do so much work. He's a great kid, and you guys know about him and all his accolades, and so it's always hard when a kid like that goes down, and we had the same with Jimmy. But it's a testament to Wes Sanders and all the work he's done to put himself in this position, to be prepared when the moment arrived, and he really has been since that moment where he had to go in, and he's working hard week in and week out to keep improving. And the other thing I'll say about it is, the guys around him, he can't do it all himself, and we've got some great guys around him that are picking up their game, because you don't replace a Logan Mengi, and it takes a group effort, and guys like Jose Rivera and Sam Andrews up front and Brady Molnar up front have been doing such a great job as senior leaders. So that's the biggest thing, anytime you have a big injury like that.
Well, and kind of, sticking with that for a second, as I look at the stats that you sent me, you have 5 guys with 150 rushing yards or more. And I know Logan was one of those. But to me, I just think that speaks volumes about, like you said, a couple of those offensive line. I mean, really, that entire unit, they've really probably had to step up in recent weeks, haven't they?
Absolutely. And we're going to need them to step up even more tonight when we go against a tough team that's well coached and comes off the ball hard and is, I know, going to have a good game plan against us. So, these guys are going to have to step up, and that's why, I talk week in and week out about how we've got to continue to improve ourselves. And I think our guys are buying into that. And hopefully we execute tonight, to earn what we want to earn.
Again, we're talking with Mike Rice here on the pregame show. He's the Columbia Raider head football coach. They're traveling to LaGrange tonight to take on the Keystone Wildcats, and what should be a really fun, exciting, and physical Lorain County League matchup here in Week 8. Speaking of physical, your defense, I mean, we've talked about them a lot this season, right? Coach Bucher has them playing well on that side of the ball. What have you seen from them in recent weeks as we kind of get to the nitty-gritty time of the season here?
I see a physical team that flies around and executes what they're coached to execute. And when you do that, you can be a really good defense. And our guys have bought in. Coach Bucher and Coach Durante, who's coaching the back end of the defense, they have these kids prepared. They know what's coming before it comes, because they've seen it. They've studied it, they've repped it, and that's half the battle. And so you can't say enough. And then, then they got to go out and execute. And guys, we're getting some great play from Xavier Hendon and Ambrose Beach and Wesley Sanders, who I know all these guys are on the offensive side too, but they're doing a bang up job on the defensive side too. And Andrew Sorensen's another kid who just is really stepped up as a leader on that side of the ball.
We know all about the two-way players here on WEOL, right? That's small school football in a nutshell, right there, right? So, great stuff. Well, let's talk about the matchup then tonight a little bit, Coach. Keystone, right? You guys are both 4-0 within the conference. They took a couple of losses in their non-conference schedule, but that seems to be a team that has gotten a little bit better, each and every week as we followed along their season as well. What are some things that they do well that kind of concerns you guys heading into tonight?
Well, they play good, solid defense. They change their fronts a lot, so you can't, you're not going to just get one look. They move. They're well coached on that side of the ball. They know what they're going to be seeing. So that's always hard. And we're going to have to be prepared for that and execute on that side. And their offense it's the big plays I see. They might not. They might get stopped once or twice and then boom, a big play happens, and they have multiple guys executing and creating those big plays, anywhere from number one to their quarterback. They have multiple running backs and receivers that they can get the ball to, and they can create big plays. So we're going to have to rally to the ball. We're going to have to play the great solid defense that we've been playing. We're going to have to really play it again tonight.
Well, certainly looking forward to seeing how this matchup shakes out. We've been looking forward to this one since we kind of announced our broadcast schedule, thinking that this may have some stakes on the line, and sure enough, it does here in Week 8. So, Coach, as always, hey, really appreciate the time here on the pregame show. Best of luck to you and your Raiders here tonight on the road.
All right, Rocco, thank you.
And there is Columbia Raider head football coach Mike Rice, kind enough to share some time with us here on our pregame show. Again, big thanks to our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Eco Tree Services, Cobos Insurance Center, Lorain County Community College, and Stewart's TV and Appliance. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. And when we return, we'll be joined by head coach of the Keystone Wildcats. That's Don Griswold. He joins us next right here. It's the WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel Game of the Week, the Gridiron Clash.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, this month you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Back here on our WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube Game of the Week pregame show as we're in LaGrange tonight taking in some Keystone and Columbia. Let's talk some Wildcat football with their head coach. Coach Grizz, Don Griswold, joins us here on the pregame show. His guys are 5-2 overall, 4-0 though in conference play, as are the guys on the other sideline tonight. So a battle of unbeatens as far as conference play goes here tonight. And Coach, first and foremost, thanks for taking some time here in the pregame. Just want to kind of start with the caliber of this matchup, right? I mean, you've been a part of a ton of these now. Keystone and Columbia, kind of since the inception, if you will, of the Lorain County League. It's been you guys, right, at the top as far as football goes, certainly in other sports, but as far as football, it's pretty much been Keystone and Columbia taking the reins of the Lorain County League. So just kind of opening with that, Coach, I think that in and of itself speaks to the kind of high level of play that everybody's expecting to see on that field tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Year 7 of the league, we've won 4 titles. They've won 2. Going back the last 10 years, these have been fun, very competitive games. Some have been high scoring. Some have been right there in the middle. Some have been low scoring. Last year's game was awesome, super competitive. I believe each team scored on their opening drive. And then we went into the fourth quarter tied at 7. So we ended up squeaking one out, pulling it out at 20-7 last year. We're split 2-2 over the last 4 years. Again, about roughly a split over the last 10. So yeah, this has been a fun one. We always look forward to this. Not a lot of difference between Keystone kids and Columbia kids. Not a whole lot of differences between coaching staffs. We know those guys, they know us. We respect them. But have a beverage together on a warm summer night, talking about what's good in life. But yeah, I mean, this is everything that's right about small town football in the Midwest. Both teams are going to try to run the ball, play great defense. Really looking forward to it.
Well, it's kind of, I talked to Coach Rice about this as well. It's certainly a stressful environment, I'm sure, right, for you guys as a coaching staff. But, I mean, you can't have it any better on a Friday night, can you?
No, for sure. When you sign your name on that dotted line, when that coaching contract comes, it's like, you're signing up hopefully to get games like this and to be able to play meaningful games with playoff implications and league titles and all those things on the line is certainly a blessing. It's been a blessing that it's been our team and certainly Columbia in that mix the last 7 years. Means both schools, staffs, student body are doing things right. We both have high standards. We've obviously had success during the regular season and the postseason. So, it's just fantastic for everybody involved. And then certainly we'll draw a lot of eyeballs, so to speak, from other football fans in the area.
With just kind of the anticipation and the excitement of this week's matchup. And we talk about this a lot with other matchups as well, but for sure for this week, and maybe not a challenge, maybe that's not the right way to phrase it, Coach, but do you kind of have to keep tabs on, the emotion level of the kids throughout the week of practice? I'm sure they don't really need any extra motivation heading into tonight, but how do you sort of try to keep that all in check and use it in the right way?
Yeah, not so much leading up to the game. It's more about managing that emotion on game day. Being able to go throughout the day and kind of conserve energy, making sure your sleep schedule's lined up, your eating schedule, we're hydrated. During the week, our energy's been great. It really has. We've had a great week of practice. But game day is tough, right? Especially when you start and walk through, start getting taped at 5:30. 7 o'clock's a long way away, man. And if you exert too much energy, too much emotional capital, it certainly can come back to bite you. But our guys have done a great job all year of managing those emotions, understanding that warm up is warm up, and going in the locker room and quieting our minds, and then getting back up for kickoff at 7. So yeah, there's no doubt you have to teach young people how to manage those. To be excited, but that's why pregame you won't hear us hooting and hollering and all those sort of things. Cheerleaders don't win playoff or don't win football games. We're just very focused. So when our team is quiet and locked in, right, that's when I know we're ready to play.
Good deal. Good deal. Again, we're talking with Don Griswold, head coach of the Keystone Wildcats. His guys are at home tonight taking on Columbia, first place in the Lorain County League on the line in this one. Just kind of looking at the stats that you sent over to me, Coach. I mean, it's very similar to Columbia, I guess, as far as the rushing game is concerned. You guys each have 5 guys with over 150 yards rushing on the season. I maybe think that speaks to the diversity of guys that you're able to use on offense. And you've talked about that, right? With being kind of that small town, small school, you got to rotate guys, and your guys seem ready for that challenge each and every week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're blessed with a fairly deep roster. We have 50 guys on the roster. And because of a boatload of injuries, which I know Mike and his staff have certainly dealt with, we had to develop guys early in the season at multiple positions, and that's really paying off now. In years past, I was talking to Tim Gebhardt yesterday, and in years past, if we had a young man go down at any of the positions, there might be a significant drop off, right, in the next guy up, right, and we don't have that this year on both sides of the ball, and certainly at the skill positions, at the linebacker spots. So we've really been blessed that we've had more season-ending injuries than we've ever had. We're up to 5 or 6, and being able to literally have the next man up mentality and still have the high level of play and production has been an absolute blessing, again, at a Division V school. And we just keep gaining momentum and traction as we develop those guys and gain success competitively on Friday nights.
Well, someone I'm sure you've seen plenty of development thus far this season is your sophomore quarterback, Colt Cowling. Looking at his numbers, I'm sure the turnovers are something you'd maybe like to see him rein in a little bit. But outside of that, plenty of positives to talk about with Colt this season, as you've mentioned a lot on our wrap-up shows. What have you seen so far from him this season? What do you expect from him tonight in a big matchup like this?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, we've been blessed to have a lot of really talented athletic quarterbacks. I can't remember the last time we started a sophomore at that position. And even with some golden helmet winners and all those sort of things, you know, yeah, he's right where he needs to be. He's a coach's dream, mentally tough, coachable, wants to get better. Sky's the limit for him, talent-wise, physically, and he's right on track. He's right on schedule. And here we are, the last third of the season, so to speak, and each week he just gets more comfortable operating our spread triple option. A lot of our plays, pre-snap might have 5 plays built in one, and he examines what the defense is giving us, put the ball where they're not, so to speak. And again, he's just gaining momentum as he gets game reps. You know, it's one thing to practice it on a Tuesday with a cornfield in the back of our practice field, but it's another thing when the lights are on and the intensity and you get a different color jersey coming at you. And he's just been great, and his maturation as QB1 has been right where he needs to be. And again, he's an impressive young man in a variety of manners.
Fantastic. Quick one here before we get to you know, kind of keys to victory for you guys here tonight. Your defense, though, Coach, 6 quarters now of shutout ball? That side of the football has played now. What's been clicking for that side as of late?
Yeah, you know, we've been known for playing great defense. It's the great thing about being the head coach and the defensive coordinator, right? We're going to put our best athletes on defense. No, it's just understanding run fits and team, 11 guys playing as one. They're running the ball really well. They're understanding what their jobs are, doing their 1/11th really well, and then doing that collectively. Again, we have depth. We're able to cycle guys in and out, get them a break, get them some water, and not have a loss of production. So, yeah, we got a lot of guys over there with their ears pinned back and getting to the football with a bad attitude.
Awesome. Well, we can close with this, Coach, as we always do, as you've broken down the Columbia film this week and gotten ready for this matchup tonight. What do they do well that you guys are going to have to find an answer for tonight? What are going to be a couple of victories for you, keys to victory, for you guys here tonight at home?
Yeah, I think it starts with their style of play on defense. It's very aggressive. They're going to bring pressure. You're going to see their linebackers buzzing. It's meant to sow chaos and uncertainty, and just being able to, understand that, withstand that, trust in our first steps as offensive linemen. Then on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to face a tough veer triple option style offense, which there aren't many around anymore. Thank God we grew up in that kind of offense. Columbia and Olmsted Falls run it in our area. They run it well. It's downhill. It's fast. It's one slight misstep can lead to a big explosive play for them. So it's just managing their explosives. They're going to slow the game down. This should be, time-wise, a fairly quick game because they are going to run the ball. They might pass it 5 times, and they're just going to milk that clock and make the most of their possessions. So, yeah, we got to get off the field on defense, and we got to withstand their chaotic style of defensive play, which is very aggressive.
Fast and physical. That always seems to be the name of the game anytime the Wildcats and the Raiders lock horns. So, Coach, certainly looking forward to this one tonight. Thank you for taking some time here in the pregame, and best of luck to you and your Cats here tonight at home in Week 8.
All right, Rocco. Thanks for coming and showcasing our student athletes. Appreciate you.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about Eco-Tree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted Eco-Tree. They did an incredible job. The folks at Eco-Tree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com. Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secure dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Lorain County has a story every day. Make sure you don't miss it. From breaking news and high school sports to schools, business, and community events, the Chronicle has it all. Stay connected to your neighbors and your home team with coverage that matters most to you. Don't just hear about Lorain County, know Lorain County. Subscribe today at chroniclet.com/subscribe and get the news that keeps you in the know. The Chronicle Telegram, Lorain County's largest newspaper.
Back here in LaGrange, it's Keystone and Columbia here on WEOL.com and also on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz here with you alongside Jared Kozar, Dave Rydell, high above in the perch here in the press box. Ron, it's a pleasure to be joined by you, my friend. We're about a minute away from kickoff, so a very quick pregame show here, and I'm sure you got lots of thoughts that you'd like to get out before we kick things off here tonight.
Well, Rocco, I think this might be the game of the night in northeastern Ohio. You've got two teams that are undefeated in Lake Erie or Lorain County, LC8 play. You've got Columbia undefeated on the season, and Keystone with just two losses to two teams that are combined 10-4 right now in the football season. So this is set to be a real good football game, and a night atmosphere-wise, it's youth football night here tonight. They've got, probably over 100 youngsters in the football program. All the younger cheerleaders, the home stands are packed. The visiting side is starting to fill up across the field from us here, and it should be just a beautiful night for football and a very competitive football game. The last two games that Rocco that I have been a part of have gone literally almost down to the last play. So I'm real excited about tonight.
Well, and you already got some excitement with your little celebrity tour around the track here, running into everyone and their mother down there.
I have got lots of cookies to talk about tonight. I've got lots of lovely ladies to thank for the wonderful cookies that have been. And, Jared Kozar, our on-site producer, has already broken into the Flynn family's selection of cookies.
Yeah.
And we'll have to get his thoughts on. He had the cowboy cookies.
Okay.
Which are M&M's, chocolate chip, peanut butter, and pretzel mix.
Yeah, that's pretty tantalizing.
Yes.
So, all right, we'll make some progress on the cookies as we make progress here in LaGrange. It'll be Columbia kicking off to Keystone to start this evening's contest. Jack Washburn, the young man, booting it off for Columbia. Again, as Ron said, Raiders are 7-0, but 4-0 in conference play, as are the Keystone Wildcats, who are 5-2 overall. And here we go, Washburn's kick, a lazy one out to the 25. Return man out across the 35, just across it. Fumble pops out last minute, but let's see. Do they rule him down, or is that a loose football? I don't think it matters because Keystone fell on top of it, and so that is where this Wildcat possession will begin. That was Bennett Rising on the recovery, and he pounced on top of that football again, just past the 35. Let's see where the official spot is. Looks like it's going to be just shy of the... Oh, no, it is right at the 35, so that is where Keystone will begin tonight offensively. Keystone purple jerseys, gray bottoms, white numbering and lettering. Columbia, they are in the road whites, tops and bottoms, with the green numbering and lettering. So classic color scheme out there for both sides tonight, Ron. That's what we like to see. No, athletic director Jeff Holzhauer was thinking they'd be wearing the black jerseys tonight, Keystone, but I guess a surprise for everybody when they trotted out onto the field in their purple. So here we go, quarterback Colt Cowling, the sophomore. The signal caller this season for the Keystone Wildcats. He's shown growth each and every week, according to head coach Don Griswold. And he'll start tonight handing off to Wyatt McKee. He bounces off one tackle, then falls forward across the 40 out to about the 42-yard line. So a nice pickup of about 7 there for Wyatt McKee. Good numbers for him, 71 carries, 570 yards total for him rushing on the season. Just over 8 yards a carry, 10 touchdowns for McKee this season. Right?
I asked Coach Grizz before the game what would be the perfect offensive night for him and his team. He said McKee goes for about 170 on 20 carries, and Colt Cowling throws for about 150 yards. So it was Cowling and McKee. It was the key for this Keystone offense.
There you go. Yeah, the numbers for Cowling, 40 of 83 through the air this season, 48% completion percentage there. 6 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. So I'm sure that's an area where both Colt and head coach Don Griswold would like to see some improvement, right? Kind of limiting those turnovers and keeping possession to sustain these drives. But ultimately, again, just a sophomore Cowling, he has handled the starting quarterback responsibilities here in LaGrange rather well. The offensive front, it'll be a rotating number of guys at left tackle. Kyle Naylor is the starting left guard. Luke DeVore at center. Gus Hoops is the right guard, with Ben Lamb, the junior, at right tackle. Caleb Scott, Mason Grams, and Brendan Hagerman are the receivers for the quarterback, Colt Cowling. He sits in the pistol, tailback behind him. That's Hurley. Instead, he'll go the bubble screen out wide. It's caught by his receiver out across the 45, nearing the 50 before he gets shoved out of bounds. That is, for the Wildcats, number 26, Caden Cologne on the reception. 5'6", 150-pound freshman, making a nice catch there for a Wildcat first down.
Rocco, this Columbia defense is real good. I mean, real good. They give up just over a touchdown a game, 8 points a game. So anybody that has a sustained drive on them is doing good things. And so far, the Wildcats are doing that.
It's a defense that hasn't allowed a point in 6 quarters. As Cowling takes the shotgun snap, he'll go to Hurley out of the backfield again on the swing route. He gets upended shy of the 50. Ball pops out again. Columbia thinks they have it, but instead this play gets blown dead. Otherwise, that was off to the races for Carter Dooley, the senior defensive back. Would have been a scoop and score. Instead, they whistle Hurley down, and it looks like maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage on that.
It really never developed for Hurley. He caught that ball, and he was by himself against 3 Raiders defensively. So he was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
It was Kyle Hurley, pardon me on that, not Michael Hurley. Kyle Hurley. As Cowling breaks the huddle here, 3 wide receivers set, all of them to his right. Actually, one split out to his left. He's in the pistol with McKee behind him. Columbia loads the box a little bit here. Cowling takes the snap. He'll turn. He'll give to McKee. Ball pops out again. My goodness. And let's see. Columbia has it. Yeah. The Raiders pounce on the loose football. My goodness, it felt like every play that drive, Ron. Even on the opening kickoff, that pigskin was finding a way to get jarred loose from the hands of the Wildcat ball carriers. And for that time for Columbia, they find a way to pounce on it, and an early turnover here for that Raider defense.
It's something that Columbia does very well, Rocco, defensively, is create fumbles. In 7 games this year, they have recovered 9 fumbles, and now make it 10 in 8 games.
So a early turnover again there for the Raiders defense. That'll pave the way for sophomore quarterback for Columbia, Wesley Sanders, in for the injured Logan Mengi, who was out for the remainder of the season. So Sanders being thrusted into quarterback duty, leading this triple option offense. And as we kind of joked about pregame off air, we'll be lucky to see Columbia throw it, 5 or 6 times, if that, here tonight. Turn and give, or instead, it's Sanders on the QB keeper. He breaks one tackle, turns up the sideline, the far sideline that is, and makes his way out toward the first down marker. He's into Wildcat territory, was pushed out of bounds near the 40, so he'll be about 2 yards short there, but a nice 8-yard carry on first down for Wesley Sanders.
Rocco, if they threw it 6 times tonight, it would double their output for any game this year.
Yeah.
They've thrown the ball 22 times
Wow.
in 7 games. So that's 3 times a game.
Yes,
they just don't do it.
No, Sanders has 11 of those throws. He's 6 of 11, 1 interception, 3 touchdown passes for him this season. He's under center here. And a quick whistle. And what do we got here? We had an equipment issue for Keystone. It was McKee who had something going on in that opening drive. Came right back in, though. And not entirely sure what this stoppage is all about. But either way, we will play on. 2nd and 2 for Columbia at the Wildcat 40-yard line at the start of this first quarter. Here for the battle for the top of the Lorain County League. Sanders turns, gives to his tailback. That's Hendon, and he pushes forward just past the first down marker. So a fresh set of downs here, I believe, for Columbia. Depends on the spot, and they will give it to him. So a first down there. Xavier Hendon, the star-studded tailback for Columbia. 107 carries for him, 735 yards, so just under 7 yards per carry for him, but 8 touchdowns for Hendon, and he will certainly be a focal point of the offense tonight. If tonight goes like anything, how the rest of the season is gone for Columbia. They run Xavier Hendon a lot. So Sanders breaks the huddle. That triple option, man, that is intimidating when you look at all those bodies right there at the line of scrimmage. Hendon carries this one again. Ball pops out again.
Got it.
Keystone has it this time. Good eyes, Mr. Ron Jantz. So a pair of fumbles, one from either side to start tonight's contest. Is that 58 who pounced on top of it for Keystone? If so, that's Jack Bolton, the sophomore defensive lineman. And I don't know if he caused the fumble, but he came away with the loose football, Ron. And as soon as Keystone coughed it up, they get it right back.
It's one of the dangers of the triple option, and we've seen it already this year with Olmsted Falls. I actually did 2 Olmsted Falls games against Amherst and then the 2 weeks later against Avon Lake, because the quarterback, if they're good at running that option, will push that envelope, meaning am I going to hand it off? How long am I going to keep it in the belly of my running back before I pull it out? And I really think Wesley Sanders was kind of indifferent as to what he was going to do with the football that time.
So now Keystone gets it back at their own 36-yard line. Cowling takes the snap. He's going to keep this one himself. Looks to turn it upfield. Gets by one would-be tackler. He's out across the 40 before finally being tripped up and brought down near the 42. So a pickup of about 6 there for Colt Cowling.
Well, the 2 middle linebackers in on the tackle there, Ambrose Beach and Wesley Sanders. Yes, Sanders, the quarterback, plays middle linebacker. But it's Beach, Rocco, that I think you and I will call a lot tonight. He leads the team in total tackles, tackles for loss, sacks, and he's also got 1 interception from his middle linebacker spot.
Yeah, 6.5 sacks on the season for Beach. That number jumped off the page immediately to me when head coach Mike Rice shared his stats with me. Here comes McKee on the end around. McKee looking to turn it up the near sideline, falls forward across the 45. He's got enough for the first down, just shy of Raider territory as he gets whistled down at the 49-yard line. So a nice run there for Wyatt McKee and another first down for the Keystone offense.
Rocco, both of these teams are so young. McKee's a junior. The quarterback's a sophomore, Cowling. Zach Taylor, who will carry and catch it, a junior tonight. On the offensive line, 2 sophomores. That's Keystone. And Columbia can mirror that.
It's the beauty of small school football, I think, right there. And what do we got? I believe that'll be a false start there on the Keystone left tackle. Let's see.
Well, I wonder if they'll say that the Raiders.
Did they jump first?
They did jump first.
All right.
And then another. Yeah, and they're going to call this on Columbia, I think. They were in the neutral zone first, and it will be encroachment.
It is encroachment. Good eyes, Mr. Jantz. So Columbia jumps off sides. Let's quickly give you that Raider starting defense. They run a 3-4. Samuel Andrews, A.J. Lamb, Ryan Smith, the 3 across the front. Linebackers are Jose Rivera, Wesley Sanders, Ambrose Beach, and Xavier Hendon. And in the secondary, it's Jacob Rust, freshman Peyton Lidke, Andrew Sorensen, and then Carter Dooley. 2 wide receivers set, 2 in the backfield with Cowling. Who awaits the snap here on 1st and 5. He gets it. He'll turn. He'll give to McKee. McKee weaving through traffic. He's into the second level and then gets brought down hard just shy of the 35-yard line. He's out to about the 37. So on 1st and 5, that is plenty for a first down as McKee moves the chains again for this Wildcat offense.
One of the reasons that they really like Wyatt McKee, the coaching staff at Keystone, he hits the hole quickly. He hits it quick, he hits it hard, and he's got the speed and the shiftiness laterally. And you saw all three of those things on that carry.
Yeah, very much a downhill runner, but he can get east and west on you in a hurry. He's got a little bit of twitch to him, as you hear a lot of coaches talk about with athletes these days. Here comes McKee again, but he gets swarmed by a handful of Raiders right back near the line of scrimmage there. So that was good pursuit there by the Raider defensive front. Big number 55, A.J. Lamb, certainly sticks out to me emerging from that pile, but again, he was helped out by a couple of friends there as well.
Well, you've got Lamb in the middle of that defensive line. You mentioned the 3-4, so he's the nose tackle at 295, and his two ends go 180 and 175. So you got the unstoppable or the immovable force in the middle, and then two quick guys to chase people on each end.
Well, the numbers on Beach tell me that those three guys really do a good job of getting into the backfield to allow Beach to work downhill as well as he does. Cowling rolling out to his weak side here. He throws one up for grabs, and it's nearly intercepted on that far sideline. As in coverage there for the Raiders, that was Carter Dooley, the senior. It was Caleb Scott, I believe, the intended receiver. Might have been a pair of purple jerseys there, but it was nearly Dooley with an interception. Fortunately for Keystone, it falls incomplete.
It's what Columbia does well defensively, and that's create turnovers. I mentioned the 9 fumble recoveries.
Yeah.
Dooley's got 2 interceptions. The team in 7 games, Rocco's got 9. So that's 18 turnovers, combination of interceptions and fumbles in 7 games.
This is a hungry Columbia defense each and every week that will look to turn you over. Cowling looking deep down the sideline here. He overshoots everybody on that one, though. And on 3rd and long, it falls incomplete, brings up 4th down. And let's see what they do here, kind of in a weird no man's land here where you could try to punt this one away and pin the Raider offense deep, or you can trust your defense that just forced a turnover last time out, and you can try to pick up a fresh set of downs here on 4th and 10, and it looks like that's what they'll do. So
yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. I mean, the ball's at the 37. It's not like it's at midfield.
Right. So a 4 wide receiver set here for Cowling. McKee behind him in the backfield. Trips to his left. Cowling takes the snap. Good pocket here. Fires across the middle, and that one was tightly contested. And a Raider got a paw on that one. It falls incomplete, as I believe that was Wesley Sanders, the linebacker there, that got a piece of it. But again, he threw that one, Cowling did, into heavy traffic.
Well, triple coverage.
Yeah.
You had 2 linebackers, Hendon and Sanders for Columbia, plus their strong safety, Andrew Sorensen, all within an arm's length of that football.
Yeah, so fortunately, again, for Cowling, it falls incomplete. Result nonetheless, a turnover on down, so the Raiders' offense gets it right back. And, well, both offenses a little stagnant here early, Ron, but that's to be expected with the level of defense that both sides like to boast.
They haven't been able to take care of the football. Both of them have moved it. I mean, both teams have moved it.
That's fair.
They just haven't been able to keep it.
So let's see what Columbia does here. 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line. 7 minutes to play here in this opening quarter from Keystone. Sanders keeps this one himself. Thought about pitching it and ends up pulling it down instead, and a wise decision as McKee came flying in. Head coach Don Griswold, he talked to Tim Gebhardt in the Chronicle Telegram. I believe he mentioned this about McKee in our pregame interview as well. A heat-seeking violence missile, Wyatt McKee, and that's pretty much the resemblance that we saw right there. McKee shooting downhill to bring down the quarterback.
Well, I got to tell you, Wyatt McKee should buy teammate Bobby Gurich an ice cream cone after the game or tomorrow morning, because Gurich was the one that sealed the outside edge and really made the quarterback keep the football, and then McKee got to finish it up or clean it up. It was Gurich that created that opportunity for McKee.
We'll get you those Keystone starters on defense as soon as we can here. 2nd and 13 for the Raiders after that loss there. Sanders will pitch this one to his tailback, breaks 1 tackle, looks to bounce it outside. He's past that original line of scrimmage out across the 40 before being brought down near the 41-yard line. That was Jose Rivera, one of the slot backs that this Columbia offense will tout. They put 2 of them out there in this offense.
His helmet came off. He's going to have to leave for a play. His helmet popped off as he got thrown to the ground.
So the Keystone starters looks like this. They also run a 3-4. John Falte, junior defensive end. Riley Jackson, the sophomore nose tackle, with Jack Bolton, sophomore defensive end. The linebackers are sophomore Bobby Gurich, senior Shane Old, junior Wyatt McKee, and junior Dimitri Ruby. And in the secondary, senior corner Cooper Graham, Brendan Hagerman, the other corner, he's a junior. The safeties are senior Caleb Scott and junior Zach Taylor. 2nd and 6 here for the Raiders, 3rd and 6 rather, as Sanders will give this one to his tailback right up the gut, and he gets launched forward near the first down marker. Hendon does, but he's going to be about a yard short, so that'll bring up 4th and, a football here
it's
for
short.
Columbia. Man, I mean, not quite a yard, about a half a yard.
Rocco, I'm going for this.
I think so.
If I'm Mike Rice.
You got the best punter in the county in terms of average per punt in Ambrose Beach, but in a night like tonight with as much on the line as there is, again, first place in the Lorain County League, they're going to go. Columbia will. Wesley Sanders under center. He'll turn and look toward the sideline, perhaps for a new play call as Columbia, or rather Keystone defensively crowds that line of scrimmage. Sanders will take this one. He's going to keep it himself, and he is got the first down. He's out near midfield, so Wesley Sanders, a good decision there. Keeps it himself, turns it up that far sideline, and gets just enough for a first down nearing Wildcat territory, again down right at midfield.
Rocco, I know it's week 8, and you should have trust in your quarterback and all of your players by this point, but that's a sophomore quarterback at midfield on 4th and less than a yard that you're putting the decision in his hands. I mean, to roll out like that, to go 3 yards deep in the backfield before moving the football forward, that's a big play by a young man.
Well, Coach Rice speaks very highly of Sanders. Again, he knows the difficult position that, he's been thrust into now. Again, no Logan Mangy for the rest of the season. Certainly hope a speedy recovery is on deck for Mangy, as McKee will have to exit the ball game with an equipment issue. Kyle Hurley checks in for him, but Wesley Sanders, I mean, it's one of those things, Ron, where I don't think Coach Rice would put him in the position if he didn't think he was able to do it. Now, again, small school football, somebody's got to do it, right? It's always that next man up mentality, but I think what you just said speaks volumes to the trust that Mike Rice has in his sophomore quarterback.
Well, if it's not Sanders, it's Jose Rivera.
Right, who hasn't thrown a pass this season. So, but again, that's not really the name of the game here offensively for the Raiders.
Columbia has done so much this year to overcome 2 very significant injuries. You've talked about the Logan Mengi thing in week 4 against Wellington, where he tears his ACL, he breaks his collarbone and he's out for probably the rest of the year. But Jimmy Stoffe this summer, this is an all-Ohio running back last year for the Raiders who blew out his ACL this summer. He was All-Ohio as a junior. He's coming in, All-Ohio candidate to repeat as a senior. So they lose not only Mengi, but they lose Stoffe. And look what they're doing.
Yeah, still moving the football here. Sanders carries that one out to the Raider 45-yard line. Again, kept that one himself and picked up about 5 yards. So, not unlike a lot of schools here in this Lorain County League, Ron. We've known that, right, covering these teams over the years that, they get beat up. There's just not a lot of numbers on these rosters due to the, school size and the nature of that. But it's always the next man up. But, again, one injury like that for any kind of extended amount of time, obviously ACL, collarbones, those are pretty severe. It can be a little detrimental. So give Columbia credit for maintaining the, level of success offensively that they have thus far. What do we got here? A flag, sideline warning going against the Raiders. So maybe that was some of the prolonged discussions amongst the officials earlier, was trying to keep these sidelines intact. We've seen that a lot.
Well, I hope it wasn't on old ball coach Bill Albright over there.
Yeah, that's
I got a chance to see Coach Albright before the game. It's always a pleasure to see him.
Is there anyone you didn't see before the game? I think that might be the list that we might.
I did make the tour.
Shorter.
That's for certain.
I got the thumbs of approval there from Jared Kozar. I'll take that. You make Jared laugh. It's you're doing all right here on a Friday night.
Well, Jared has already had a cowboy cookie tonight from the Flynn family.
He's doing better than all of us, I think. Sanders keeps this one and then pitches it, and he launches it behind his, would have been tailback, Jose Rivera. Instead, that one lands out of bounds near head coach Mike Rice, who gets himself a game ball touch here in the first quarter. But I think he'll be a little displeased with the fact that his quarterback just lost his team about 5 yards there. He literally pitched it back to the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 5 now becomes 3rd and 10, and a bit of an oopsie there from quarterback Wesley Sanders. Second mistake really that he's made tonight. He had the fumble earlier and then that.
Yeah, 2, one turnover, 1 potential turnover. Last year in this game at Columbia, it ended up being for the LCA championship. Keystone won the game. Columbia turned the ball over 4 times in that football game. And Mike Rice and I talked about it before tonight. He said it was It was our ugliest game last year, and he's hoping he doesn't get that this year.
A throw here from Wesley Sanders over the middle. That's his big tight end, Ryan Smith, on 3rd and 10. They get 11, so how about that? Mark it down. The first pass for the night for Columbia, a successful one, and one that they had to have on 3rd and long. Again, that's Ryan Smith. Catch number 5 for him on the season, puts him over 50 yards receiving, which I know certainly when you look at other teams' offensive numbers that like to throw the ball a bit more, that's not a whole lot, but hey, over 50 yards receiving in this Raider offense, you'll take that.
Rocco Ryan's a sophomore, the quarterback's a sophomore, the center's a sophomore, their top tailback Hendon's a sophomore.
A lot of youth. Success for years to come here at Columbia, but that would be expected anyway as Hendon takes this one up the gut. Late flag gets thrown right near that point of contact as Hendon pushed himself forward for maybe 2 or 3 yards, and let's see what this flag is. Might be in the area of holding, and it is. It is a hold going against the Raider offense. So back them up 10 yards as Columbia, you typically don't see this Raider offense make as many mistakes as they're making in the first quarter of games. Now, again, we've talked about the injuries. We've talked about the youth that they have within that starting lineup, but really a number of, shoot yourself in the foot moments here for this Raider offense within the first, 9 minutes of this game, Ron.
And, Rocco, this game will kind of do that to you, right? I mean, it's Keystone, Columbia, make that matchup, Midview, North Ridgeville, Avon Lake, Avon,
sure.
Just wherever.
Weird things happen.
And there's so much that goes into it, and sometimes people play tight, at least early in the first quarter.
Sanders will pitch here to Rivera, and he gets walloped near midfield by a couple of Wildcats, McKee and Hurley, 2 of the first ones to help greet Rivera with the grass, and a very short gain there for Rivera. So now we're looking at 2nd and, about 19 still.
Well, John Falte did his best impression of a clothesline tackle, and really, I mean, that was very much like the guards against the prisoners in, what was the name of that movie?
Oh, The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard.
Great movie.
Mean, Falte was tough on that tackle. Let's just say that. Their defensive end in their 3-4 defense.
You guys were thinking about different Longest Yard.
Yeah, probably. I do enjoy the new one. I still don't think I've seen the original
I was thinking
Longest
Burt Reynolds'
Yard,
Longest Yard.
Well, he's in the new one, too. As another pass here, complete for the Raiders into Wildcat territory. That'll be a first down and more. As this Raider offense, how about that? A couple of passes here on this drive. That time it was Peyton Litke, the freshman slot back, making the catch. And a nice ball by sophomore quarterback Wesley Sanders. Again, he only threw it 11 times coming into tonight. That was throw number 13 on the season for him right there. But pretty good-looking ball there, my friend. So a fresh set of downs here for Columbia there at the Raider 26-yard line. Moving it well here with less than 2 to play in this scoreless first quarter. Sanders will turn and give this one to Rivera, who bounces this one outside near the first down marker again. And let's see, did he get the first down? No, he's going to be shy about a yard. Actually, that might not have been Rivera.
It was Litke.
It was a Litke again. Okay, lost him amongst the shuffle. That'll happen as well here in this triple option offense, right? You got to keep your eye on the football the best you can. I know our viewers on the YouTube broadcast will certainly be having a time trying to follow who has it, but that's why they do it, right? You keep the defense guessing, and one misstep can lead to a big gain, as was the case there. 9 yards for Litke. 2nd and 1 now. Sanders will turn and give. This time it's Rivera, and he falls forward. Should be a first down for Jose Rivera, and it is. So Columbia, they're hitting on some big plays downfield. They're picking up short chunks of yardage on the ground as well. They're really just kind of slicing and dicing through the Wildcat defense this drive, Ron.
Well, they rely a lot on the strength and success of that offensive line. And they go Molnar 255, Lamb 295, Hanna in the middle 220, Andrews 225, and then the smaller, the right tackle, Andrews at 180. And Coach Rice said, we've got a big line for Division 6. He says it's right up there with Kirtland size-wise.
Sanders turns, and he will pitch this one out to Litke, who was looking to turn it up this near sideline, and Litke gets brought down near the 10. So a pickup of about 4 there for Peyton Litke, as he's become a big part of this Columbia offense here this drive. With 45 seconds left to play in this first quarter, should see at least one more snap here from this Raider offense. They're looking at 2nd and 6 here from the Wildcat 10-yard line. Again, 0-0 our score with 33 seconds and counting here in this first quarter. Both teams 4-0 in conference play. So first place in the LC8 on the line here in LaGrange tonight. Wouldn't have it any other way when these two teams meet up. Hendon takes this one himself up the middle. He had a hole and then got brought down after he squeaked his way through it. He's near the first down marker, going to be about a yard or two short. And that should bring us to the end of the first quarter here in LaGrange, and that is exactly what it will do. So we've played one here at Keystone. Our score, it's the Wildcats 0, Columbia 0. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz, Jared Kozar, Dave Rydell here with you on the WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Game of the Week. We'll be back.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
With the reflection.
We have flipped sides here at Keystone with Columbia threatening. They're looking at 3rd and 2 from the Keystone 6-yard line. At the start of this second quarter, 0-0 ball game. Again, Keystone and Columbia battling here for first place in this Lorain County League. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz here with you. Hey, once again, big thanks to our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Eco Tree Services, Cobos Insurance Center, Lorain County Community College, and Stewart's TV and Appliance. We'll bring you some scores from around the area throughout the broadcast. And make sure you guys stay tuned tomorrow morning for the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared and myself will be at the Chronicle Telegram Live talking to tonight's victorious head coaches. We'll recap the scores from tonight as well and take an extended look at that playoff picture that continues to develop here now in Week 8. So here we go, 3rd and 2 again for Columbia at the Keystone 6. It's been a nice drive here for this Raider offense after they coughed up the football on a fumble on their opening possession. Sanders under center. He's going to keep this one himself, and he gets wrestled down in the backfield. Ball pops out again. That's been happening a lot here tonight, but the officials say Sanders was down, but he got nowhere near that first down marker. Again, might have went backwards on that run, Wesley Sanders, so it'll bring up 4th down, and Columbia has not attempted a field goal this season. Jack Washburn's kicking duties have been exclusively in the kickoff and extra point department, with Ambrose Beach doing the punting, so Columbia, they'll be looking for 6 here and not 3. 4th and 1, so Sanders did actually gain a yard there now from the Keystone 5.
Last time they were in 4th and 1, they gave it to Sanders. He kept it himself and went around right end.
He's under center here. He will keep it himself again. He gets tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, and let's see the spot as he did fall forward, and oh boy, this will be close, I think. It's hard to tell from where we're at in the press box, the angle. We're a little lower than where some press boxes might have you a little higher, and it's easier to see as they get towards the end zones, but let's see. No indication, right, that I've seen from the officials. Ron, I know you're kind of relegated to behind the press box glass duty right now.
Well, they're moving
the small box.
They're moving the chains out to measure.
Yeah, we get the measurement here.
And I agree with you, Rocco. I think it's going to be tight. I always watch the side judge where his foot is on the mark, and they're going to extend the chains right now. And Keystone can tell you body language-wise that they held Columbia.
Wow, so Wesley Sanders, again, he just kind of kept that one himself, took it right behind his center's rear end and fell forward, but Keystone did enough to push against that force, and they forced the turnover on down. So, Ron, to your point earlier, man, both offenses, they're moving the football. Columbia 5 yards away from tonight's first score right there, but Keystone, they bend, they don't break, and they get the football back, albeit with 95 yards to go for their first score of tonight's contest.
Well, in the only other low-scoring game that Columbia has played this year offensively, it was the 14-0 win over Black River.
Yeah.
They were in the red zone, inside the 20 of the Pirates 4 times and came away with no points.
It's the only game this year where they've scored less than 25 points. As Keystone offense, they can certainly put up points in bunches as well, but they don't see each other's defenses as often as they do, and there's a big loss there for Keystone. Ball carrier brought down near the goal line. Columbia jumping around doing the safety signal, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But I still think Keystone lost about 3 yards on that carry there, and they're going to be back up against their own, 2-yard line now. 2nd and 13. Wow. Just under 11 minutes left to play here in this second quarter. Nothing ball game here between Keystone and Columbia. Colt Cowling, sophomore quarterback, awaits the snap in the pistol. He'll get it. He'll give to McKee. McKee slicing his way through traffic, and boy, maybe out toward that original line of scrimmage again. Maybe got a half a yard there. Nothing doing in a major way there for McKee. So now it's 3rd and long, and you got to be careful here, Ron, I think, with your play calling, because as much as you'd like to pick up a first down here, right, in an ideal world and keep this drive moving, you don't want to make a silly mistake and give Columbia the football right back with a tired defense.
Well, I'd just give it to McKee again, because if he gets into space, he could take it the distance.
Sure.
He's that type of back.
Cowling awaiting the snap here. Making some calls out to his line of scrimmage. He will take this one and roll to his weak side here. Cowling is going to tuck it, keep it himself, lowers his shoulder, and then gets forced out of bounds inside his own 5-yard line. So Cowling maybe got himself, or his guys rather, a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, they'll mark it at the 5. So I don't know, a pickup of 2 or 3 there for Colt Cowling. And so Keystone will have to punt this one away. It'll be McKee doing the punting here for Keystone, with Peyton Lidke, the freshman, back deep to return here for Columbia. Under 10 minutes left to play in this first quarter. Nothing ball game still. So McKee will put everything he's got into this one. Gets it away. Nice strong kick that angles away from Lidke and takes a nice Keystone bounce. Now Lidke fields it at the Wildcat 48, still bouncing off tackles. He's still running. Flag gets thrown, and now Lidke gets gang tackled right where he originally picked that football up. So Lidke trying to get east and west there, but Keystone rallied down on him in a hurry. But again, you did see a flag get thrown.
I think it's a block in the back by Carter Dooley.
Okay. Yeah, the Keystone faithful, you could hear them below us. I think they saw that one better than I did. And so the flag should go against Columbia here, which will hurt the Raiders' starting field position. Without that penalty, they'd be starting in Wildcat territory, but a personal foul of the 15-yard variety will go against the Raiders, and they'll be marched back into their own territory now. So Columbia had a nice drive last time out, but ultimately fell short in the red zone. And that's, again, you know, this isn't a new thing with some of these Lorain County League teams, Ron. We know the kicking situation is not always, you know, what you would ideally want it to be. And I think that's one of those areas there where, you know, if you had a more consistent kicking game, you maybe take your 3 points and you're up 3-0. Instead, now you got to march about, 60, 70 yards to get your first points of the night. And a whistle here. And what? Man was in motion there. It was Andrew Sorensen. And I think maybe they were just signaling now guys can go ahead and start. So Sanders play fake here, looking downfield. He's got a man open. He's got a step behind the defense, and he's gone. 20, 15, 10, 5, all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. Jacob Rust got right behind that Keystone secondary and motored his way into the end zone. A 62-yard scoring strike from Wesley Sanders to Jacob Rust, and Columbia strikes first here tonight, 6-0 Raiders.
That was a straight go route from Rust. He just, from the line of the scrimmage, straight down the field, go as fast as he could. And no one paid attention to him early. And by the time a defensive back picked him up, he was already 5 yards past the defense.
Yeah, nice route there and a better throw. Wesley Sanders hit Rust right in stride, and a flag thrown here before this extra point could be attempted by Washburn. And Keystone is offside. So does that change what head coach Mike Rice wants to do? No, he says decline the penalty, as a matter of fact. And so nothing will change here. We'll just get resituated and try again. Sanders the holder. My goodness, Wesley Sanders. He's quarterback, he's middle linebacker, he's holder here on special teams. And Washburn's kick is up and wide left. May have been short as well. Not sure if that one was tipped at the line of scrimmage or just came off the foot wrong or not. But nonetheless, our score remains with 9:17 here in the second quarter. It's Columbia 6, Keystone nothing. We'll be right back here on WEOL.com and on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
Ron Jantz, did you have Columbia with a 50-plus yard passing touchdown on your bingo card here tonight? Because if you did, you're a liar, and I don't believe you.
Well,
but my oh my, what a toss there from Wesley Sanders to Jacob Rust. Well,
no,
you guys are chop busters up here, so I got to give it back.
No one did. No one.
I didn't think
so. No one had that. Again, to repeat, coming into tonight, Wesley Sanders himself, and you know, he picked up, 4 games into the season as the quarterback, had only thrown 11 passes in his last 3 games. But as a team, Columbia had only thrown 22 in 7 games. So they don't throw it. I mean, almost don't throw it at all.
Right. And that's already, 4 tosses we've seen tonight. The latter going for a 62-yard scoring strike. And now here comes Keystone on the return. Man up the far sideline. Then here he goes. And now he steps out of bounds. Return man for Keystone. That is number 9, Brendan Hagerman on the return. And a nice one for Keystone, bringing this Wildcat sideline back to life a little bit. He gets himself into Raider territory. And so a nice starting field position here for this Keystone offense that, similar to Columbia up until that last drive, Ron, I think they've moved the ball well, but just haven't been able to punch it in. Columbia broke through. Now can Keystone find a way to get it in?
Well, also similar to Columbia, that Keystone offense led by a sophomore quarterback. Colt Cowling is, just in his second year at Keystone High School, and he's got 2 sophomores in front of him on that offensive line, Luke DeVore and Aiden Wright. DeVore the center and Wright the right tackle. So there are a lot of young players.
Cowling here takes the pistol snap. He'll fake it to McKee, keeps it himself under heavy pressure here, rolling out to his left, and thought about sliding out of bounds and takes a big hit at the end from Rivera, but he pops right back up, and not a bad gain after all is said and done there for Colt Cowling, a gain of about 8 or 9 yards there for him. We'll call it 8, well, maybe 7, but my math hasn't always been the best. Nonetheless, a nice run there for Colt Cowling on first down, but took a punishing hit at the end of that, one that I'm sure Coach Grizz wouldn't like to see his quarterback take each and every snap.
Right in front of Coach Grizz on this near sideline.
So they did call it 7. 2nd and 3 here for Keystone at the Raider 41-yard line. Columbia leads Keystone 6-0 with 8:55 left to play here in this first half. Cowling in the pistol, McKee behind him, takes the snap. He'll turn, he'll give to McKee, breaks 1 tackle, taking some Raiders with him across the 40, down near the 39-yard line. He needs the 38 for a first down, so that brings up 3rd and 1. And I'll tell you what, Columbia doing a nice job defensively of limiting what McKee's been able to do. He's picking up yards, sure, but you haven't had that big back-breaking run yet from that Keystone offense that, they've done to opponents time and time again this season. So 3rd and 1. Keystone again at the Raider 39-yard line. 8:20 left to play in the second quarter. 2 in the backfield with Cowling. 3 receivers, 2 to his right, 1 to his left. Cowling takes the snap. He turns. He gives to McKee. He gets met at the line of scrimmage, and he falls forward. I don't think he got there, though, as one official has this at the 40, as does the other, so he may have even lost about a half yard there, Ron. And so now 4th and very short, so a decision that I'm sure Coach Grizz wasn't wanting to make here. You had a 3rd and 1. Usually that's a gimme for this Keystone offense, but now you got a big 4th down coming up.
Well, Jose Rivera, along with teammate Athanasius Herena, came up and made, back-to-back hits and really limited McKee from getting close to that first down marker. Those were huge hits that stopped McKee in his tracks. And this is a huge decision because it's not 4th and short. I mean, it is, but it's not like it's a half yard.
You can't just fall forward. You got to get some blocking and make the right read as the ball carrier.
And if you give Columbia the ball at the 40, it could turn into a 2-touchdown game in a heartbeat.
Well, and that's one of those things where Columbia, with the way they play offense, and I guess this maybe sounds silly considering they just hit on a 62-yard strike, but, they'll grind you out. I mean, this could very well be, if Keystone doesn't get this, a 7-minute drive for Columbia to follow up, right? So Yeah, definitely a gotta-have-it situation, I think, here for Keystone. And you want to keep this crowd in it, too, right? I mean, you're scoreless. Columbia certainly has the momentum. You've made some plays, right, as the Wildcats here at home, but Columbia certainly has the MO right now, and I think Keystone really would like to keep this drive moving and not give it right back to that Mike Rice offense. Let's see. 4th and 1. They're at the Raider 39-yard line. Cowling with 2 in the backfield with him. 3 receivers, 2 to his right, 1 to his left. We've seen this formation a lot tonight here out of the pistol for Keystone. So let's see what they do as we await the resuming of play here. Now we get the whistle and we're good to go. 4th and 1 here for Keystone at the Raider 39-yard line. Cowling will take this one. He'll throw it out wide, and he throws it past his intended receiver, and it's incomplete. An errant pass there to Caden Cologne, the freshman receiver, Caden Cologne, and Cowling just didn't really give his receiver a shot at that football. Ron threw it way over his head.
Yeah, pass never had a chance to be caught. It was there. The play was there. They had an outside wide receiver creating a block, pushing Columbia's defense towards that Raider sideline. So if the pass is there, that's a big gain. It's not only a first down, it's a lot.
So 7:44 left to play here in this second quarter. 6-0 Columbia in front now with the football back, as this Keystone offense has been flustered here through the first quarter and a half of play. So right back to work here comes Columbia. The turn and give to Xavier Hendon. Hendon looking to push the pile. Instead, a swarm of purple jerseys shoves him backwards, but forward progress should give Hendon about 4.5, 5 yards there. So not a bad gain there for Xavier Hendon. Again, he is the workhorse for this Raider offense, and we're seeing it on display here in this first half. Another nice carry for him.
You know, this Keystone defense, you've got to give them credit. They have done a phenomenal job tonight. I mean, short of the 60-plus yard surprise touchdown pass on a go route, they have shut out a Columbia offense that averages nearly 40 points per game. And we're, 5 minutes from halftime.
So 2nd and 5 here for Columbia. Ball at their own 45-yard line. Man in motion, it's Rivera. Sanders keeps this one on the option, and he's up near the first down marker. Should have it as he falls forward past the 50. That's what he needed for a fresh set of downs, and he gets it. So Wesley Sanders doing a nice job of running hard here through the first quarter and a half of play, and a nice pickup there.
Rocco, I asked Coach Rice how long he thought it would take for his system, the triple option system, because this is just his second year as the head football coach, to really settle in. And he goes, surprisingly, I think it's there. He really feels comfortable. He said, the players are making great choices. He said a lot of times defensively in practice we'll give them things to look at and they'll make the right move. And, the sophomore quarterback tonight certainly has been doing that.
Here comes Hendon on the carry, spins away from one tackle. Now he runs backwards, looking to get back towards that line of scrimmage, and still up. Now finally gets wrestled down near that 48-yard line. Man, Xavier Hendon with one of the toughest 2-yard runs that I think you'll see on a Friday night, as it took about 4 or 5 guys in purple jerseys to finally bring him down. So Hendon, again, gets just 2 there. Now into Wildcat territory, 2nd and 8, ball marked at the Keystone 48.
There haven't been a lot of chunk runs tonight for Columbia. The Keystone defense has limited those runs to 2-4 yards. And this is an offense that averages almost 8 yards per carry and nearly 300 yards rushing in every single game.
Well, as we talked about, this matchup, when these two meet up, it certainly lends itself to kind of a different style of play. As again, a tough, hard-nosed run here, as that was Rivera taking that one. He is shy of the first down, but he's past the 45, near the 44, so a gain of about 4 there for Jose Rivera makes this 3rd and manageable. And I think, Ron, for Columbia, that's been part of their offensive success tonight. They're doing a good job of staying ahead of the sticks. They're not taking too many losses. Everything has been 2nd or 3rd and manageable for them offensively so far.
Landry Atkins made a nice tackle for Keystone there. I want to get his name out there. Another sophomore for the Wildcats.
And a lot of those on both sides tonight. And what's crazy is a lot of those sophomores play both ways as well. It's a big ask, but they're certainly up for the challenge. here on the carry for Columbia. Now breaking into the secondary, it's Andrew Sorensen across the 20, and he gets caught from behind and brought down near the 15-yard line, but a gain of about 29 there for Andrew Sorensen. First time that Columbia has called his name tonight on the ground, and Sorensen, a nice strong run there, now into the Wildcat red zone once again.
Zach Taylor saved the touchdown, the free safety for the Keystone Wildcats, running Sorensen down.
That's a good hustle and effort play right there, because Sorensen, he just, I think, saw a bunch of green grass ahead of him and tried to motor on in, but Taylor, catching him from behind, showed great speed there. So 1st and 10 here for Columbia at the Wildcat 14. Sanders keeps this one himself on the option, gets met past that line of scrimmage, dives toward that 10-yard line, and he's inside of it around the 9, so a pickup of 5 there for Wesley Sanders. And I'll tell you what, man, this Columbia running crew, I don't want to call them running backs because Sanders carries it a lot himself from the quarterback position, but they're fearless, man. I mean, they are running right into the teeth of this Wildcat defense more often than not, and that's just your guy against mine type of situation. Again, these Columbia ball carriers are more than willing to engage in.
Well, it's certainly plural. There are 4 of them that consistently carry the football. You know, Hendon gets the attention. He's got nearly 100 yards, or not nearly, he does over 100 yards rushing per game, but there are 3 other backs, including the quarterback, that carry that load.
So Don Griswold calls timeout. He was having fun with one of the officials, and, well, maybe it wasn't as fun as it looked here from a distance, but he was in his ear, Grizz was, earlier, because he was trying to get a timeout, and the official was a little late seeing him out of his peripherals, and so Grizz kind of hit him with the stealth approach there, snuck up behind him and signaled for a timeout, and at least the official had a laugh about it as they were walking away. I don't know how much chuckling Grizz was doing, but nonetheless, a timeout here for Keystone. That'll be their second of this first half with less than 5 to play, 4:51 to be exact, against 6-0 Columbia leads Keystone. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz here with you. Jared Kozar, our on-site engineer, with Dave Rydell up in the perch above us. I know he can hear us. He's doing a great job on the camera tonight, getting a nice shot of the Keystone huddle right there. Him and Peltomania have been dynamite with the camera work thus far this season. No question about that. A new role for both of those guys here on the new look WEOL.com, so certainly appreciate their efforts and what they've been able to do.
And I must say, if people viewing tonight are encouraged to watch tomorrow morning's wrap-up show, because now that it is video, now that everything is on camera, you and your partner tomorrow morning, Jared Kozar, are probably not only 2 of the best-dressed young men in Northeastern Ohio, but also 2 of the most handsome. So if you get an opportunity, viewers tonight, to watch the wrap-up show tomorrow morning, I guarantee you'll walk away thinking, why aren't those 2 guys on the cover of GQ magazine?
Well, I think we know the answer. Me and my best Zips hoodie, and Jared in his finest Buckeye quarter zip will certainly grace your screens tomorrow. I know you do. You don't got to tell me. Hendon here on 2nd and 5 takes it left of the line of scrimmage, and he falls forward near that first down marker. He needs, I think, the 5, and that's about where they have him marked down. So let's see. Do they give him the first down? That would make it 1st and goal, or is this 3rd and centimeters? And it looks like it's the latter. 3rd down, and, boy, not even a football to go. So we've seen some griping over the tush-push as of late. The Eagles ran it, 4 times in a row last night to get it into the end zone? Does Columbia opt for a similar play here on, again, 3rd and centimeters? We know what Jalen Hurts would do, but what has Wesley Sanders got up his sleeve here on 3rd and short? Ball's at the 5. Columbia leading 6-0. 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Sanders will do just that. They are going to just shove him forward. Xavier Hendon got behind him, and a nice gain there as they're within the 5 now, near, the 2-yard line or so. So the Raiders shove there nets Columbia a first down, and it'll be 1st and goal now with, there will be under 4 minutes left to play by the time this next snap is snapped. But a nice long drive here for Columbia after the turnover on downs by Keystone, and a golden opportunity to make this a 2-possession game, which, as we know, Ron, in nights like tonight, 2-possession ball game, it can feel like 4 with the kind of scarcity of offense that we see. 1st and goal here from the 2. Wesley Sanders breaks the huddle. Up under center now. Hendon behind him. Sanders is just going to dive forward, and was it the end around? Was that an end around, a direct snap? I had the binoculars, was staring at Sanders, but he's in. Touchdown there for Columbia. And I know, Ron, you're kind of
Well,
behind the glass
It was a
there.
handoff between left guard and left tackle.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay, I was watching Sanders, and he just kind of dove forward, and I totally missed that there. But a touchdown for Columbia nonetheless. Makes this a two-possession game, 12-0 Raiders with 3:41 left to play in this first half.
They'll go for 2, and it's a good choice
Yeah.
because the way that extra point worked out the first time, it was not attractive.
No.
At all.
Yeah, no, that was short and wide left. So they will go for 2, as Ron said.
Well, it was a high snap. It just was a lot of wrong.
Sanders under center once again, man in motion. That's Sorensen. Sanders will turn. He'll give to Hendon, looking for the end zone, and he's in for the 2-point conversion.
He did a great job breaking tackles.
Yeah, he did. He got met right at the line of scrimmage, but, I mean, literally, Ron, just bounced off of tackles and made his way left into the end zone for 2. So Columbia, with 3:41 left to play in this first half, leads here at Keystone. It's 14-0 Raiders. We'll be right back here on WEOL.com and on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
Hi, Tim Elthorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
So with 3:41 left to play here in this first half, it is 14-0 Columbia. You see the pink there in the student section as they're fighting for the cure tonight here at Keystone. You're seeing a lot of pink on both sides. I know you see some pink socks and other football accessories here on this Keystone home sideline. A number of Raiders also got some pink accessories going as well. I'm glad. Did the NFL bring that back this year? I don't know if they brought that back. I know they did away with it. Yeah, I don't think they did. I know October was always your wear pink month, and NFL's done away with that. I always thought that was a cool touch. Kickoff here fielded by Keystone at their own 30-yard line. Return man just comes down to a knee and will be whistled down there. That was Dimitri Ruby, the junior, fielding that kickoff. So now with 3:41, you're down by 2 scores, Ron. I know Keystone, you'd certainly love to see some points put on the board here, especially given the fact that they started the night with the football. You don't want to let Columbia kind of double dip with getting the final points of the first half and then getting the football right back to start the second half. So I think the Wildcats are really going to be looking for points here on this possession. But, you know, it's an obvious when you're down 14-0 late in the first half.
And there's almost 4 minutes left in the half, so they certainly don't need to be in a rush or take any risks.
Cowling with 4 receivers, 1 back. He'll fake it to Hurley. Instead, he throws out wide. Receiver catches it out across the 35, gets sandwiched by a couple of Raiders up across the 35 near the 40. As on the reception there, it was Caden Cologne. We've called his name a couple of times here tonight. The Raiders did well to rally down to him before he got the first down, but still a pickup of about 8 there for Cologne makes it 2nd and short. Ball at the Wildcat 38-yard line. Plenty of time, as Ron said, here for this Wildcat offense. 4 wide receivers, 2 split to either side here of Cowling. McKee in the backfield behind him. As Keystone operates almost exclusively out of the pistol. Cowling takes the snap. He'll throw it out wide, and it's caught behind the line of scrimmage. And that receiver is brought down quickly in the backfield. Bobby Gurich had nowhere to go, and I couldn't quite tell who that was for Columbia. Might have been that far side cornerback who went screaming down to bring down Gurich, but a nice play there by the Raider defense.
It could have been Ambrose Beach, lined up as a left defensive end because he's a linebacker, and they'll switch him. He's coming to the right side now.
Okay.
And, you know, he's their leading tackler and leading in almost every defensive category. So you'll see Beach, he'll line up as a linebacker. A lot of times, though, he'll jump down right or left side.
Cowling on 3rd and 1, takes a snap looking deep down the near sideline, and it is incomplete as Gurich went up for it, and Andrew Sorensen, the safety, flying back in coverage, did well to kind of meet that ball at its high point. Both receiver and defensive back went up for it. You saw some contact, but, Ron, both guys going for the ball. It's a good, clean defensive play.
And Caleb Scott was wide open for a moment. And as you mentioned, Sorensen did a nice job breaking on the football. But I think if Cowling throws it deeper, gets more on it, nobody catches Caleb Scott.
So 4th and 1 now, another big 4th down for this Keystone offense. Cowling takes it, gives to McKee. McKee
he's not gonna get it.
is dropped in the backfield.
He is definitely short, and what that does, you've got well over 2 minutes left in this first half.
And look at Jose Rivera doing the Conor McGregor strut off to the sideline as he knows he just made a big-time play for his defense right there. And, boy, you can see the frustration here for this Keystone sideline. The offense, they were moving it well, or at least reasonably well there. And, again, they turn it over on downs, that time on a 4th and short. 4th down has not been kind to the Wildcats here tonight at home. And so Columbia, with 2:43 left in this first half, really a chance to try to break this ball game open a little bit because, again, they start the second half with the football. And they already lead 14-0. Sanders under center, gives it to Hendon. Hendon spins away from one tackle out across the 35, then gets pushed backwards, but forward progress will net him a couple of yards. So a short gain there for Hendon on first down. And to your point, Ron, last time Columbia had the football, you're right. You know, they haven't really had that big, explosive downfield run. I guess Sorensen had the one that kind of broke loose down this near sideline. But Keystone, they're doing a good job of rallying to the football.
The pressure has been on the defense in this second quarter, though. I mean, Keystone's offense and lack of getting 4th and 1 for a first down at least twice in this second quarter has really put the pressure on their defense.
I think that's a tired Wildcat defense right now. Sanders again is going to throw this one, and he's got a man on the wheel route. Rivera up the far sideline. He's into well into Wildcat territory. They were already past the 50. Now inside the red zone once again. Rivera, just a nice wheel route out of the backfield. And I'll tell you what, Ron, credit Columbia offensively, as much as we kind of talked and half joked about their lack of willingness to throw the football downfield. We're seeing some creative passing plays called by head coach Mike Rice, and the guys are executing it well.
You know, it's all about not allowing yourself to be predictable, right? I mean, if you study this team, tendencies are always to run, limited the pass, and really with a very inexperienced quarterback to do it. So, you know, that's the go, that's the tendency, and they have completely fooled everybody here tonight.
Yeah, no question. And when these guys see each other each and every year and they know each other as well as they do, you kind of got to throw those wrinkles in there. As Hendon takes it on the pitch outside here, tries to work his way upfield, and Hendon up near that 10-yard line. A nice gain there on first down. So Columbia, a really good chance for them to go up 3 scores here with about $1:15 left to play in this first half.
Which is remarkable to say, right? I mean, given the way that first quarter played out and the beginning of the second quarter, and now you are about to announce, if in the next 83 seconds Columbia punches it in, a 3-touchdown lead. It just doesn't line up with how this game has gone.
It does not feel like it's even a 2-score game right now, let alone a 3-score game if Columbia punches it in. But you know, the scoreboard is what the scoreboard is. Hendon takes this one right up the gut, and Keystone does better there to limit Hendon's yardage as he got maybe half a yard. And with 40 seconds, Columbia, they got all 3 timeouts. I'm kind of shocked they don't take one here to come up with a play call here on 3rd and 3 and kind of get your red zone situation sorted, because you can't travel with those timeouts, right? That's the old cliche. But Mike Rice could coach circles around me, I'll tell you that much. 3rd and 3 here. Sanders will fake it, tosses it towards the end zone, and it's nearly intercepted as he was looking for Litke. And the defensive back for Keystone nearly undercut that one. That might have been, I think, Shane Ohl, number 5?
Linebacker, the middle linebacker. And I got to tell you, Rocco, if he catches that, nobody catches him. That is the other way, nearly 100 yards for a touchdown.
I would agree. So now 4th and 3 for Columbia at the Keystone 8. And, again, you got all 3 timeouts. With 19 seconds, Mike Rice, he's just maybe sensing some momentum on this drive and doesn't want to break it. So Sanders thought about snapping that, instead turns over for a new play call. Hendon sits behind him. Lidke is to his left, Rivera to his right. On that line of scrimmage, Rivera the man in motion. And he'll stop and walk back to the line of scrimmage, and now we get that timeout. So I think Mike Rice there trying to get a cheeky little first down there to try to draw Keystone off sides. The Wildcats are well disciplined, and Mike Rice does get that timeout. Why don't we take a quick one as well? 19 seconds left in this first half. 4th and 3 with Columbia leading 14-0. We'll be back after this.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Back here in LaGrange, Keystone trailing Columbia 14-0, but as Ron said before the timeout, even if Columbia punches this one in, it does not really feel like a 2 or 3 score game, but Columbia has made the big plays when necessary, despite a couple of mistakes, and Keystone has been unable to capitalize on their opportunities thus far through the first 23 minutes and change of action. So Keystone feels like they kind of desperately need a stop here to close out this first half, give themselves something to feel good about heading into that halftime locker room, because, you know, if this clock hits 000 to end the first half and you look up and you're down 21-0, that can be, you know, a bit morally dejecting there. So,
well, this is everything right now for the Wildcats.
Sanders takes the snap. He's going to fake it. He's going to roll out. Sanders looking for the end zone, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Keystone. Now running the other way is going to be Zach Taylor. Taylor across the 35, and he gets caught from behind. Jose Rivera ran him down with 9 seconds left to play in this first half. But what a play there by Zach Taylor, the junior defensive back. Stepped in the way of an errant Wesley Sanders pass, and now Sanders a little slow to get up, but do we have a
It's coming back.
penalty flag?
Defensive holding.
Ooh, good catch. Yeah, I got lost amidst the chaos there trying to identify who had made that interception. It was Zach Taylor. And is that all for naught, as Ron said, on a defensive holding?
That will give them a first down.
It is. Or is it pass interference? I couldn't tell what the... Oh, so
the
block in the back.
So that happened after the interception. So
okay, so that return.
Well, that's good news for the Wildcats.
Correct. The interception will stand, and you know you were down to 1 timeout anyway. So even if that penalty doesn't stand, you're probably not really looking at a real shot at points anyway. But now you for sure aren't, as you get backed up to within your own 5, just about.
Well, Rocco, that can take Keystone into the locker room and really put them in a good place mentally.
Yeah.
That play.
For sure.
I mean, the difference between that play and a touchdown for Columbia mentally is monumental for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it's huge. And, again, it's still within reach, it feels like, at this point. And you still got to come out and play defense to start the second half. But, again, it's a much more manageable ball game here, I think, as McKee will take this first down carry with 5 seconds to go. 4. And that should bring us to the end of the first half, and it does. So we have played 24 minutes of football here in LaGrange. Our score, it is Columbia leading the Wildcats here 14-0 as we get set for our Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Give Cobos a call. That's Cobos Insurance Center. They are your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent and the official halftime sponsor of tonight's WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel, Gridiron Clash. So we'll step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll get some thoughts, some scores from around the area. We'll show some love to the band here as well, or the bands, I should say, plural, as they get set for their halftime performances, and then we'll get you set for second half action after that's all said and done. But again, first coming up, it is the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Our score here at the break, Columbia leads Keystone here in LaGrange 14-0. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secured dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
Are you undecided about your future and overwhelmed by the options? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Lorain County Community College has helped thousands of students just like you find their future career. From short-term training programs to transfer options all the way to bachelor degrees, our programs are designed to set you up for future success. Lorain County Community College, your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, this month you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Well, as we've liked to do here on WEOL, we like to give the bands some love here on our WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel stream. So, as you see there on your screen, it is the Columbia Raider Marching Band. Let's turn things over to them. Get our score here at the half. Columbia leads Keystone 14-0. Here's the Raider Band.
Turning up the volume for our next performance with a classic from the pioneers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath. Released in 1970, this song was written by all 4 members of the band and became a high-energy anthem that rocked the world. In honor and memory of the late Ozzy Osbourne, the Raider Band is proud to bring you the performance of the legendary hit, Paranoid. Our final performance of the night takes us to the year 2000, where Southern California pop-punk trio Blink-182 released a song with infectious energy that became a cult classic for a generation. This song earned platinum status and gave us one of the most memorable lyrics nearly all of us can probably relate to. Work sucks, I know. The Raider Band will now bring a marching band spin to this iconic hit, All the Small Things.
And there is the Columbia Raider Marching Band here at Keystone. Their Raiders leading the Wildcats 14-0 here during the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. As the Keystone Band gets set to go, let's take a quick time out to thank Cobos for sponsoring the halftime show. And when we return, it'll be the Keystone Marching Band. We'll be right back after this timeout. Again, it is the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secure dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
pipeline. We hope you enjoy our second song, Bang Bang. The marching Wildcats would like to welcome to the field the members of the Keystone Middle School 8th grade band. With musicians, we grow our 86-member band to 123 students. Let's join in with the combined marching Wildcats as they play one of our band's favorite numbers, Paint It Black.
And there is the Keystone High School Marching Band, kind enough to share their tunes with us here during the break. Hey, shout out to Tyler Sparks, sophomore, number 57, pulling double duty in the band tonight, as well as number 20, Dominic Quinn. That's one of my favorite parts of small-town high school football. You often see some of the players doubling up as marching band members. So we'll be right back with more of the Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. We'll quickly recap the scoring from that first half of play. We'll take a look at some scores from around the area and then get you set for the second half kickoff. Again, Cobos Insurance Center halftime show here in LaGrange. Keystone trails Columbia 14-0. We'll be right back after this. Thank you from our sponsors.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Welcome back out to LaGrange. Keystone trailing Columbia 14-0 as we are just moments away here from the second half kick. Quickly, the scoring recap from that first half. Just 2 scores. Columbia had both. A 62-yard touchdown catch in the early stages of the second quarter. Wesley Sanders finding Jacob Rust. Extra point was no good. Then later in that second quarter, it was Xavier Hendon from just 2 yards out, muscling his way into the end zone. His 2-point conversion was good as well. Made this a 14-0 game. Again, here on our Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz here with you. Jared Kozar, Dave Rydell in the house as well, with Zachary Sprague on site as well. Midview grad, you may recognize that name. He was, or is rather, a student at Lorain County Community College. As Ron displaying our lovely gifts to those below us who I think helped develop those lovely gifts that he holds in his hands. Those gifts being cookies of various varieties. We got the.
I've got to give some love out and to 2 wonderful families. So Lisa Ward, wife of longtime Hall of Fame head football coach at Columbia, now retired but still the athletic director, Jason Ward. Lisa Ward makes me molasses cookies every year. And she has got at least, 2 dozen molasses cookies here in a special Columbia green bag. Individually wrapped sections of 6 molasses cookies.
Wow.
And Lisa does this every year for me. And this year, though, she had her husband Jason bring them on the road. Usually it's in the press box
at Columbia
High School.
That's an enemy territory.
There's a big platter of cookies up there for everybody else. And then I get my own personal bag with my name on it. I save these bags. Lisa, if you're listening, I save these special bags that you personalize for me. Tonight's is Columbia green, and it's got my name written in black Sharpie marker. She's a school teacher, and you can tell because
that's exquisite handwriting.
It is beautiful.
It looks typed more than it does written. My gosh.
And then, since we're in LaGrange, the Flynn family, who are 4 rows in front of us here in the press box, Jan Flynn, the grandmother of the family, 7 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and her daughter-in-law, Adele Flynn. I think Jan made all the cookies, but there are cowboy cookies. The makeup of a cowboy cookie is M&M's, chocolate chip, peanut butter, and pretzels. There are probably 8 or 10 of those. Peanut butter cookies, which some of you have had, and if anybody else takes another one of my peanut butter cookies, I'm going to cut your hand off. There are only 4 left of those.
I only took
I'm
one.
I'm looking at Zach
I only
Sprague.
took one.
I'm looking at Zach Sprague, our intern from Midview High School and Lorain County Community College. Then peanut butter with M&Ms, and then no-bake chocolate peanut butter. Like they look like the crispy treats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. They do kind of look like Rice Krispie treats.
I want to thank Jan Flynn and Adele Flynn and Liv Flynn and Addison Flynn, all the Flynn women.
There you go.
Love them all. And I want to thank Lisa Ward. She is so wonderful to me every year with my molasses cookies. I will call Lisa tomorrow morning as I'm enjoying a molasses cookie with a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah. Well, Ron, to your credit, you have brought those in on a Saturday morning wrap-up show before.
Yes.
Sharing is caring. You are certainly one to advocate for that, so always appreciate that, my friend. But, yeah, they spoil you rotten around these parts, don't they, my friend?
Well, it's a wonderful place, southern Lorain County. I grew up in Grafton.
Yeah.
You know, Jason Ward, who's Lisa's husband, I've known him since he was literally like 5 years old, hanging out in my backyard with my brother. So, you know, it's wonderful community out here in southern Lorain County.
It absolutely is. As that concludes our Cobos Insurance Center halftime show. Again, big thanks to Cobos Insurance Center for hopping on board and sponsoring not only the game but our halftime show as well, as it'll be the Raiders with the football to start this second half. I think it was that pose right there, Ron, that gets it in for you. You wear the sport coat, you get one hand up against the wall, other hand on the hip, and you just kind of engage in some conversation.
A little picture of this,
and you're good to go.
Put it on the WEOL website. I gave the cookies back to Zach Sprague to put in the back of the press box here, though. So do you think Sprague's out of here?
Well, there's 2 more gone already since we've looked back out the window, so do with that information what you will. Columbia will start this drive at their own 19-yard line. As Sanders takes the snap, he'll turn, he'll give to his tailback Hendon, and he gets leveled hard past that line of scrimmage, forward for a couple of yards as Wyatt McKee called his name a lot offensively tonight, defensively now as well, putting Hendon on his rear end there, but not before Xavier got about 5 or 6 yards there on first down.
Columbia, I think, Rocco, has to feel real good about where they're at and have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because, you know, they left one. They had a touchdown there at the end of the game or at the end of the first half. Yep. But I also think in a weird way, Keystone has to feel okay where they're at too. They dodged 2 huge bullets, a big one there at the end of the half, and they came up with 2 turnovers to help them dodge those bullets.
Well, you don't panic, and fumble here as the pitch to Sorensen hits the grass, and that's going backwards, that play for Columbia. The Keystone defense swarming to the football there as that pitch from Wesley Sanders to Sorensen was an errant one. The second time we've seen that tonight, Ron, a poor pitch from Sanders to his would-be ball carrier, so now Columbia will back themselves up a bit. And I think you're right, Ron, especially with Keystone. No need to panic, right?
No,
it's a 2-score game.
All.
You're right in this game, but it feels like you really got to get a stop here, especially now on 3rd and long. You just had a big defensive play there, pushing Columbia backwards. There haven't been that many negative plays for the Raiders offensively tonight. I think you got a chance here to force an early 3-and-out and get the football back to start this second half. Big play
good
here.
Field position, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Man in motion, it's Lidke. They go to him. The freshman looking to turn it up that far sideline, and he can't do it. He gets wrapped up in the backfield by who else? Wyatt McKee. As fast as anybody out there on that football field tonight, folks, and he put it on display right there. The freshman there for Columbia, Peyton Lidke, nowhere for him to run. And on 4th down, might we see Ambrose Beach back deep to punt for the first time tonight for Columbia. Haven't seen them try to flip the field yet, although with McKee trotting back deep to receive, looks like we will see the first punt of the night from Ambrose Beach.
Zach Taylor made a real nice help tackle with McKee that time defensively for Keystone.
So it is Beach to punt. It's a low punt. It's Washburn, actually, who punts this one away, and it's a lazy kick that will stay in Keystone territory and be downed by Columbia territory, pardon me, and that one is down at, the 37-38 line. So that wasn't Beach that punted. That was Jack Washburn.
Well, I don't know if you saw it in the bottom of our screen on our YouTube broadcast tonight, but Coach Griswold came out and got in the face just now of his talented tailback, Wyatt McKee, because what was McKee doing? Standing around that ball that was punted that's rolling on the ground.
Get away.
And there are 3 Columbia Raiders just waiting for that ball to hit McKee in the foot or the shin. And, that would have just blown up everything defensively that they just worked so hard to get.
And how many times do we see that on a Friday or Saturday for college and the pros on Sundays? My goodness, return men all the time make that mistake. Pass out here, complete to Zach Taylor. Taylor makes his way forward. He's got a first down. Flag gets thrown, though, so this may all be for naught. As Zach Taylor on the little bubble screen there worked his way past the first down marker. So as it stands, it'd be a gain of about 12. But
so
again,
holding on Keystone.
Yeah, so that flag thrown about 5 or 6 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage. And a hold, as you said, Ron, against the Wildcats will back this Keystone offense up. And another mistake there by the Wildcat offense turns what would have been a first down gain now into 1st and long.
I've been very impressed tonight with the play of Zach Taylor. I mean, he has been quick to the ball defensively, coming all the way from his safety spot, and offensively very hard to get a handle on. He's 5'9", 175, so he's built for power low, and he has used that both defensively and offensively, and he's lined up in the bottom part of your screen right now, one of the 3 wide receivers in this set.
Well, as a fellow 5'9"er, I'll tell you, our power certainly doesn't come from anything in the vertical variety. It always comes low, as McKee will take the carry here and muscles his way forward right into the teeth of that Raider defense, back near the original line of scrimmage, and one of those Wildcat linemen up front, a little slow to get up. He seems all right, though. That would be Luke DeVore, who's in 59 tonight instead of 75. 75 is what he wears when they go with the black uniforms, but in purple he wears 59, and now another whistle. And what? Nothing, just an equipment issue. Thank you, Jared. Well, now one of the officials walking over toward the Keystone sideline here. Let's see. Okay, all right.
Rocco, Caden Cologne is in the backfield right now, a freshman for Keystone. He's wearing number 26, and he's been successful in his 9th grade season here as a varsity member. He's scored 4 touchdowns. He has nearly 300 yards rushing, and he's on the left hip of his quarterback right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of youth success for both sides, certainly for Keystone as well, though, as you said, as Cowling takes the snap, he'll turn. He will give to his tailback, that's Zach Taylor. And Taylor makes his way just past the original line of scrimmage. A short pickup there will set up about 3rd and we'll call it 8 now for this Keystone offense. They still trail Columbia by 14 with 9.5 left to play here in this 3rd quarter. 4 wide receiver set as Keystone breaks the huddle. Colt Cowling, the sophomore quarterback, with Taylor in the backfield behind him. Cowling awaiting the snap here. He takes it. He will fake the give. Now he'll keep it himself under heavy pressure. Just has to float this one downfield. He does, and it's caught by Zach Taylor near the first down marker. Flag gets thrown right at the tail end of that play. And let's see who that's against Keystone, given the celebration from the Columbia sideline. Are they going to say offensive pass interference there on Taylor? I'm not sure, because that flag didn't get thrown until Taylor was tackled, so maybe they just kind of had a late reaction to throwing the flag there. I'm guessing this would be offensive pass interference. I'm not sure what else it could be, given where the flag was thrown and who it's against, but illegal touching is what they call. So Taylor must not have been an eligible receiver, given where he lined up on the play. Interesting. So that makes this 3rd and about 11 or 12 now. 14, they'll say. Wow. 3rd and 14 for Keystone at the Raider 41-yard line. And now we get a timeout called by the Wildcats. So kind of an ugly sequence there for the Wildcats. You can see the frustration there, Ron, from head coach Don Griswold. I think he's just tired of some of these mental mistakes right now that his guys are making. I mean, it's just
they certainly have had a lot.
It's uncharacteristic of his teams.
It's almost a flip the script type situation from last year's game, this matchup at Columbia. It was Columbia making all the mistakes that Keystone is doing tonight. But in that game, it still came down to, I mean, Columbia had a chance. And Keystone, if they can find themselves in this drive, you know, they've got a big play coming up here. Obviously, this is a two-down situation. You know, 3rd and 13 is really, you know, 3rd plus 4th down. If they can get through this and get a first down and continue and score a touchdown, Rocco, it's 14-7 midway through the 3rd quarter, and this is very much a real football game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite all of the things that have gone, you know, not the way of the Wildcats.
Well, I think that's maybe at least what's half encouraging to Grizz and the rest of the coaching staff is that you've not played your best brand of football at all, and you're just, like you said, a play or two away from getting into the end zone potentially, or at least, you know, sustaining this drive, then making your way to the end zone and getting back into it. But let's see here on 3rd and 14 what they got. 3 backs with Cole Cowling, and it's the jet sweep. Now a pitch to McKee, and McKee gets his way back past that line of scrimmage and toward the original line of scrimmage, but not much further than that. Maybe 3 or 4 yards there for Wyatt McKee as Bobby Gurich took it on the end around. He pitched it out to McKee as they tried to get that Columbia defense caught off balance, but they played it well, and now it's going to be 4th and long. And let's see, another stoppage here as McKee emerges from that pile slowly. Maybe he's a little shaken up as he's been dealing with injuries this season. Excellent article in this morning's Chronicle Telegram from Tim Gebhardt, about McKee and his love for football as well as environmental science, believe it or not. And he absolutely loves playing here at Keystone, and big fan of head coach Don Griswold and all that he's helped him with in his football journey. But McKee going to have to sit a play here, I guess. Some equipment issue. Maybe he's got a cut somewhere that they can't stop the bleeding on. I'm not sure, but you can see Grizz is coming over to talk to the trainer as well as McKee as well. Not sure what's going on with Wyatt right below us, but we'll keep an eye on that. Nonetheless, 4th and 13, the situation here for Keystone, and they're going to have to snap this without McKee on the field. So tough spot here for the Cats. What do they got here on 4th and long? Ball at the Raider 40 with 8:40 and counting left here in the 3rd quarter. Cowling takes the snap. Back to pass, under pressure. Rolls away from it. Cowling keeping his eyes downfield. He's going to tuck this one, try to run. He's not going to get anywhere near the first down. May have even taken a loss. But a late flag gets thrown, and let's see, as for Columbia, that was Ambrose Beach who came screaming in, and now
2 flags.
Yeah,
the second one is definitely going to go on Jose Rivera.
But now more flags get thrown, and this is all kinds of ugly as Grizz, I think, was barking at one of the Raiders. It was Beach who came over, and I don't know how late of a hit it was on Colt Cowling, but it was an aggressive throw to the ground here after they had already went out of bounds. So Grizz, I think, took exception to that hit on his quarterback, and he was barking at some of the Raiders leaving the sideline. The Raiders were barking right back, and then there was more extracurriculars out there on the field, so the officials will have a lot to discuss here. As on the play, I mean, Cowling on 4th and 13 tried to keep it himself, maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, so it would be a turnover on downs, but I'm not sure how all of these personal fouls are going to shake out.
They could just cancel each other out.
Well, one is during the play, right, with the potential late hit, and then everything else would be after the fact. So I think what you'd be looking at is a first down for Keystone, and then after that, everything would be offsetting. Although I could be wrong. I'm sure that's exactly what this 5-man conversation is all about. While they do that, quick reminder that tomorrow morning we'll have the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show for you. Jared Kozar and myself will be live from the Chronicle Telegram talking to tonight's winning coaches from around Lorain County. Maybe we'll talk some Buckeye football as well. What do they got, a nooner tomorrow against Illinois? Yeah, so Illinois coming off of a shellacking at the hands of was it Indiana a couple of weeks ago in that top 10 matchup that did not live up to anything like a top 10 matchup. Illinois got back on track last week. I think they knocked off Purdue, maybe it was, but Buckeyes obviously rolled over Minnesota.
7:30 Big Ten games on NBC. Not working out.
No, so Jared Kozar saying those 7:30s on NBC for the Big Ten not quite working out. I'd probably agree with that.
I was in attendance at the shoe for the 7:30 Big Ten game last week, and it was an outstanding atmosphere on just a beautiful, beautiful early October night.
Well,
I got a ticket for $41.
there you go. That's, I mean, to get in the shoe for that, that's.
You know, you got one of those resale tickets from students who are getting rid of their tickets.
Sure.
And it was a fun night for certain.
Well, those college kids have other things to do on a Saturday, right? Zach can tell us all about that, right? I mean, we can.
I sit at home and do my homework.
Oh, there it is. Wow. Is that home doing the homework? Well,
But if you would have had the 41 bucks, you could have done a lot. Yeah.
why don't we stick a GoPro on them and we'll see. We'll see how much homework's getting done on a Saturday night.
Well, this is taking a long
Boy, is
time.
it? No kidding.
You might look at it. They might be dealing with an ejection.
Is there a potential ejection here? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you had. Again, I'm not. I'm not 100% certain that Grizz was barking at one of the Raiders, but that's what it appeared. And again, I think he's just kind of sticking up for his quarterback that took a late shot out of bounds. But again, we had that penalty flag and then 2 or 3 more after that.
Chris is pretty equal opportunity. He might have been barking at his own guy.
You've got
Yeah, that's true.
A single official with each head coach. There's one talking to Mike Rice right now and one talking to Coach Griswold.
Yeah,
and
so that's
both coaches are pointing towards the Keystone sideline in their conversation with the officials. So
Chris is doing the nod.
he is. Well, to your point, Jared. I mean, that's one of those where I think he could just be.
okay, personal foul.
So, face mask goes against Columbia. And a personal foul then against Keystone. And another dead ball personal foul against Keystone. And a third unsportsmanlike against Columbia. Those offset. And it'll be.
So you had four,
correct. So that's.
you had 4 penalties on that.
So that's essentially what I thought might happen there. It was a face mask instead of a late hit out of bounds. So, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Either way, 15-yard personal foul against Columbia during action. That's important because that penalty kind of gets secluded from the dead ball offsetting
penalties.
penalties.
You had 3 dead ball penalties.
Right. Those
2
all
on
just.
Keystone and 1 on Columbia. So what happens to the.
Those all still just offset. You could have had 4 against 1 and it wouldn't have mattered. Those just still offset no matter what. All that really matters is what happened during live play, which would be the face mask. And so that should net Keystone a fresh set of downs. Now, again, the spot, I guess, maybe is where that gets tricky in terms of the yardage being applied on some of those dead ball. But again, I still think that's one of those where those just totally offset. And you for sure at least get the first down. I don't remember if you get the yardage off of that.
Well, this play is going to take us into the JV game
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
it
I mean,
might.
by the time they resume play here,
well, and
we'll have sunlight.
That's what we get for talking about how fast that first half went. That's always the cardinal sin. When you mention a quick pace of play, it ultimately finds a way to come to a screeching halt. And lo and behold, that's what we have here. Still stuck at 8:27 left in this third quarter. Columbia leads Keystone 14-0, and that's a backbreaker for Columbia of sorts. Because I shouldn't say backbreaker, but costly because you were off the field, right? I mean, if you just don't grab Colt Cowling's face mask and you just escort him out of bounds without any of those extracurriculars happening that just took place, this is Raider football, and you're marching the other way with a 2-score lead. Now you got to get your defense back out there and ready to play, although they've had a nice long rest here of about 10 or 15 minutes, so. Man, oh man, I'm sure, there's some lack of patience amongst some of the viewers here now as the officials continue to conversate. And in fairness, Ron, it is one of those weird, you got offsetting penalties, you have penalties during the play, you got penalties after the play. I mean, this is one of those where you really got to know the rule book. And I guess I can't criticize too hard because I don't know what the official ruling should be, but I'm also not the one getting paid to officiate the ball game. So Grizz launches the headset there. He is clearly displeased with something that is about to transpire here. I think perhaps he wants the 15 yards on the face mask, and he is not going to get it. And he let everybody know his thoughts and feelings on that. So whenever we resume, should be 1st and 10 for Keystone. As, boy, I guess we probably could have taken a break at some point here, huh? Gotten some sponsor thank yous in there, but who knows how long. I mean, we're still waiting for this ball game to resume. Shout out Dave Rydell atop of us here in the press box on the perch, getting all this for our WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel stream. But man, oh man. Guess we could try to quickly go through some scores from around the area if we had some to pass along. Was that Avon up 27-0 over Amherst last we saw? North Ridgeville was leading Avon Lake 10-7. Midview over the Pioneers 21-6 last we saw. Plenty of other action around the county tonight as well. Vermilion and Huron deadlocked at 14. Look at that graphic from the Sailors Athletics account. That's pretty cool. Didn't know Andy Stillman got a graphic design guy on staff over there, but well done. Well done. Is that Cliff German flexing the illustrative muscles there? I bet it is. So we still.
This is just almost embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah, where's Tom Evans when we need him? The official criticizer extraordinaire that he is. He's elsewhere.
So it's 1st and 10.
1st and 10 at the 40. All right, so they do get the first down, but they just get it where that play was blown dead. They don't get the yardage on the face mask because of the offsetting personal fouls afterwards. 2 backs. The give is to Taylor. Taylor looks to make one man miss. He does. Then he gets met by another defender just shy of the 35-yard line. Maybe got to the 36. So a gain of about 4 there for Zach Taylor before he was brought down. Sets up 2nd and 6. So now, Ron, this is one of those. I mean, both sides. You kind of got to get your momentum and your groove back about you.
Yeah,
that came to a screeching halt.
Everything has it's almost like it was a halftime break.
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to do anything.
No, you were everyone was standing around, sure stiffening up a little bit. So,
well, Columbia was doing stretching exercises during the whole thing. Their defense. There's Taylor again.
To Taylor out of the backfield on that wheel route, lunges forward to near the 30. I think he's shy. The official right in front of the Keystone bench bunch here. So I think Taylor is shy of the 30. That's what he needs for a first down. So this should be 3rd and about 1 here. And it is, they'll say on the scoreboard to our right. Ball spotted at the Raider 31-yard line. 7.5 left to play here in this elongated third quarter. Cowling in the pistol. 3 receivers to his right, just 1 to his left with McKee in the backfield behind him. He'll turn. He'll fake it to McKee. He'll throw the bubble out wide to Taylor. That one's caught, and Taylor across the 30 has himself a first down. He was met by a couple of Raiders. That was Sorensen and Litke who came up to try to make the play, but Zach Taylor using all of that 5'9" frame that he's got to work with, pushed his way forward past the 30 for a much-needed Keystone first down.
He's played very well. I said it earlier, and I'm really impressed by his ability to just free himself offensively.
It's a hard-nosed player, no question about that. As Keystone keeps this drive moving, 3 receivers, 2 backs for Cowling. Columbia creeping toward that line of scrimmage. Cowling takes the snap. He'll give to McKee. No, he'll keep it himself up the middle on the read option, and Cowling out past the 25 as, boy, a Raider and a Wildcat got locked up there. That was Caleb Scott along with Carter Dooley taking each other down to the grass, but fortunately, no more delays, no more penalty flags thrown on that, and ultimately just about a 5-yard gain there on the keeper for Colt Cowling.
So, Rocco, here's something I think you really have to think about. It's 10 minutes till 9. The first half ended at 8 o'clock. There's, a half-hour halftime, 20 minutes halftime. So Columbia gets the ball offensively to start the third quarter. They haven't had the ball in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point, as on the carry here is McKee. He dives out past the 35, but not much room after that. Or I'm sorry, the 25 rather. Pardon me, the 25. He's down to about the 24. And he needs just past the 20 to pick up a first down. So they'll give him the 23 and call this 3rd and 4 here with 6 minutes left to go here in this third quarter. Keystone in desperate need of points. They trail Columbia 14-0. As they've threatened on a couple of occasions, but just haven't been able to capitalize. Cowling gives it to McKee. McKee pushing forward near the first down marker. And, boy, that's a tough spot from the officials. For McKee, he's short. He is short about a football's length. And, Ron, I mean, these have been the situations for Keystone that they just haven't been able to get over the hump from. They've been in a number of these 4th and shorts, just haven't been able to convert.
Well, this one, it doesn't take much. And here's where I just don't understand. They need less than a yard, and they'll put their quarterback taking the snap 5 yards in the backfield.
Why not get under center? I see. As Cowling takes the shotgun snap, and he's going to go backwards here. That was the fear run, and he's going to lose yards, and Columbia turns Keystone over on downs. Carter Dooley fired up after that play. Cowling slow to get up after the hit. And Keystone again on 4th and inches. You don't even need a yard there,
you just
Ron.
can't. And I mean, the common answer to my question is, well, we're always in the shotgun. And I'm not just talking about Keystone here.
A lot of teams.
A lot of teams do this. Professionally, they do it. Collegiately, they do it. And the answer is always, well, we're a shotgun offense. We rarely go under center. So to put the quarterback under center on 4th and short puts them in an unusual situation. We could have a center to quarterback fumble, a bad snap. But I would argue you are putting your quarterback, who's only a football length away from a first down, almost 6 yards away from a first down.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking a lot of your offensive line, and they're unable to hold up there. As Hendon takes this carry from Wesley Sanders, he bounces it left side, but not much room to operate there as he falls forward for about a yard. And so it'll be 2nd and long now with Columbia in possession, leading by 2 scores. Under 5 minutes left to play now here in this third quarter. And again, the fear here is, Ron, back to a point I made in the closing stages of that first half. It's only third quarter, so you still got time, but this could be, with the way Columbia likes to move the ball offensively, a really, really long drive that will punish the Keystone defense and potentially see them down 3 scores by the end of it, unless they can force another turnover or turnover on downs. Sanders in that Raider offense, continuing to work here. Sanders is going to throw it. He rolls out, now fires it downfield, and it's over the outstretched hands of Andrew Sorensen, the senior receiver, 5'9", $170.
Well, he really took a pop,
Ooh,
Sanders
boy.
did, from
Yeah,
Shane
he did.
Ohl, the middle linebacker. I mean, Ohl came in hard and high, and Sanders was exposed after throwing the pass. And this is their backup quarterback.
Correct. Yeah, Logan
Mengi was the starter. Hurt in week 4, broken collarbone. Sophomore in Wesley Sanders, and if he can't continue, and right now it doesn't look good, Jose Rivera becomes the quarterback.
Yeah, and Rivera, as we talked about earlier in this broadcast, he hasn't thrown a pass this season, and that's not the name of the game for Columbia offensively. Granted, they do have a 62-yard passing touchdown here tonight on a lovely ball from Wesley Sanders to Jacob Rust, but yeah, now you're asking, your original third-string guy in Rivera. And I use that term loosely because I don't think head coach Mike Rice ever thought it would even maybe get to this point, but that's what it might be here for Columbia as Wesley Sanders continues to get some treatment here on the grass. So why don't we do this? Why don't we step aside, take a quick timeout. Hopefully Sanders is A-OK on the other side of things with 4:21 left to play here in this third quarter. Columbia leading Keystone here on LaGrange 14-0. We'll be right back after this.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Well, Wesley Sanders is up and walking under his own power toward the far Raider visiting sideline, so that is fantastic to see. Obviously, we don't know the exact status of him quite yet, and whether or not we see him return tonight is to be determined, but we will certainly not see him on this play, as it should be Jose Rivera now leading this Raider offense, and he's got that quarterback arm sleeve on now, so it'll be Jose Rivera, the senior running back and senior linebacker, now turned senior quarterback here in LaGrange tonight. Set to take his first snaps at quarterback this year. And what do you know about this? He's going to sit in the pistol. Man in motion here. That's Sorensen. Rivera takes it, fakes the give. He'll keep it himself. Rivera spins away from one tackle, then gets upended past the 30-yard line, or maybe right at the 30-yard line. So a very, very short gain there for Jose Rivera. Brings up 4th and about 5. And it looks like Columbia will have to punt this football away, and they will, as Jack Washburn trots on. Again, Ambrose Beach typically, as far as I know, the punter for Columbia. That's how they got it listed on the 2 deep. And I was looking at the Chronicle Telegram this morning with the area leaders in different categories. Beach was the top punter, but instead this is Washburn, who boots this one away. A high kick that will land in Wildcat territory, shy of the 45. Now takes a small Raider bounce and will stop dead at the Keystone 45-yard line. So all in all, Ron, decent starting field position here for the Wildcats with 3:35 left to play in this third quarter. But again, they trail by 2 scores, and they will certainly be looking for points here because you're going to start running out of game clock here sooner rather than later.
Well, I think this has turned into a who's mentally tougher battle right now. And what I mean by that is Columbia's looking at their third-string quarterback now in the football game. So they need to stay mentally tough, not worry about that. Keystone can't get out of their own way. They need to shake that, become mentally tougher, put the past in the past, live in the moment. Just the play, that's all that counts.
How about this? Cowling out to Zach Taylor. He gets spun-a-roo down near midfield as that was a nice tackle there by Peyton Lidke. Taylor picks up about 4 yards there near the Wildcat 49-yard line. So you're right, Ron. I think Keystone, they have moved the ball well more often than not here tonight, but a couple of back-breaking penalties, the inability to convert on 3rd down and short, 4th down and short even more so, right? I mean, it's just the small things have added up in a big way going against Keystone here tonight, but they got a chance to kind of turn that ship around with 3 minutes still left to play here in this third quarter. Cowling with 4 receivers, 1 back, takes the snap, fires deep downfield, and that one's about 10 yards past anybody as down that far sideline. It was Brendan Hagerman, one of the few times we've called his name here tonight. They just haven't been able to find him. He was working against Carter Dooley, but Dooley, the senior, one of the better cornerbacks here in this Lorain County League, was step for step with Hagerman the whole way.
Well, Ryan Smith, the defensive end for Columbia, really created that hurried throw by Cowling. Colt didn't get a chance to, I think, really set up and throw that like he wanted to because Smith was breathing down his neck and actually hit him as he threw it.
Yeah, threw it off his back foot a little bit there. As he's back under, or in the pistol here, 4 receivers, 1 back, takes the snap under heavy pressure here. Look at this, 4 white jerseys swarming him as that defensive front for Columbia made quick work of that Keystone offensive line. I think that was Logan Rose, the linebacker, who gets credit for the sack there, bringing down Cowling in the backfield, and Keystone, again, will have to punt this football away.
You know, that was almost set up like it was a screen, the way that Columbia, but here's the problem. Brendan Hagerman, along with Bobby Gurich, the 2 receivers in that play, were deep, 15, 20 yards down the field.
Maybe a miscommunication there. How about this? A fake. McKee going to keep this one himself, and he gets past that first wave, now into the second level, and he gets wrestled out of bounds, and he's going to be shy of the line to gain a turnover on downs. Wyatt McKee, I don't know if that was called or not, but tried to keep it himself on the fake. I guess that's the benefit of having McKee as your punter. He's the best athlete on the team, at least as far as I know. And he was about 5 yards away from running that for a first down, but ultimately it's a turnover on downs. And now the Keystone defense will have to go right back to work. And Columbia, another opportunity to put themselves up 3 possessions. And I mean, you go up 3 scores this late in the game in a night like it's been tonight, Ron, I think that might be enough to put yourself ahead for good. But
well, Coach Griswold obviously loves his defense. I mean, he has put them in one after another back to your wall situation, and they've responded.
Here on the carry for Columbia, as Jose Rivera handed that football off, and that was Hendon on the carry. Hendon into Wildcat territory. He is marked down near the 44-yard line, so a pickup of about 6 there for Xavier Hendon. I'll tell you what, that young man has been running hard tonight. We've talked about McKee and some of the different ball carriers, Zach Taylor, of course, for Keystone, but Xavier Hendon has done a tremendous job as the workhorse tonight for Columbia, and now down to your 3rd-string quarterback. I got to imagine they'll go to him a lot here during the final stages of this contest. 2nd and 4. Ball spotted for Columbia at the Keystone 44. It's going to be Sanders on the keeper on the read option, and there's nowhere to go for him. He gets stood up near that 45-yard line, may have lost a yard. And one of the officials doesn't have the spot even remotely right. He's about 2 yards ahead of where that play actually. Wow, they're going to give him the 42-yard line. I didn't think there was any way he got up that far, right? But
partner, it's good to see Wesley Sanders back in there.
It is. Wesley Sanders, yeah, the good catch, Ron. I totally missed the fact that he's back into the ball game. And there he is again. He'll turn and give to Hendon, and Hendon stood up at that line of scrimmage. So maybe I misunderstood something in the play before, and I lost the football, missed the shuffle there. But nonetheless, the Keystone defense stands tall on 3rd down, and they bring down Hendon right at that line of scrimmage. So,
well, it was Jack Bolton. He was in there, the sophomore defensive end for Keystone that really made that play, blew up Columbia's opportunity at a 1st down.
So with 20 seconds left to play, not sure what the play clock is at. I think Columbia thinks it's enough to where we can go to the 4th quarter, and it is. So final 10 seconds will tick off the 3rd quarter clock here, and we're set up for a good 4th quarter, I think, my friend. Our score after 3 here in LaGrange, it is Columbia on the road leading Keystone 14-0. Rocco Nuosci, Ron Jantz, Jared Kozar, Dave Rydell, and Zach Sprague. We're all back with you after this time out here on the WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel, Gridiron Clash.
Fall is the season of change, and when things change in your life, be sure you have the best protection for what matters most to you. At the Cobos Insurance Agency, we're committed to helping you select the best insurance to accommodate the changing needs in your life. That's why Cobos recommends Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. Since 1901, Ohio Mutual has been keeping the promises that secure dreams. Find us online at CobosINS.com. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Start of the 4th quarter here in LaGrange. Keystone trailing Columbia 14-0 in a battle for first place of the Lorain County League. Both teams at 4-0 in conference play coming into tonight. Columbia 7-0. Undefeated on the season overall, and they're going to punt this football away here on 4th and 3. Jack Washburn, under a little bit of pressure, gets this one away. A high wobbly kick that lands inside the 10 near the 5, and that football will be downed right there. I think that's near the 5-yard line if my eyeballs serve me correctly. So a nice punt there all in all from Jack Washburn. Got a nice friendly punter's bounce at the end of that, as it didn't. You know, so many times we see it just bounce forward into the end zone when it nears the goal line like that. But Washburn did a nice job there, and so Keystone pinned deep in their own territory to start this 4th quarter. Now, again, you got 11:51 to work with, Ron, so still not panic time yet for this Keystone offense. But, you know, we've talked about it. These mistakes, they got to stop for the Wildcats if they hope to score. So they'll break the huddle here. 1st and 10, ball at their own 6-yard line. Colt Cowling with 3 receivers, 2 backs. Alongside him, one behind him, one to his right. Cowling will turn, he'll give to McKee, running right side. McKee puts his fist forward, and his arm forward rather, for the stiff arm, and barrels forward for a gain of about 4 or 5 there. That was Logan Rose, the linebacker, stepping in the way of McKee to bring him down before he went any further, but still a nice gain of about 5 there from McKee. Sets up 2nd and 5, ball at the 11.
Rocco, I think that, and I said it earlier, he could be the difference, McKee, because he is literally just one broken tackle or one step away from taking it whatever distance he needs to take it.
Just hasn't quite worked out in that sense tonight. And what do we got here? Some movement on both sides of the line. And Columbia pointing at Keystone, Keystone pointing at Columbia. And let's see, it is offsides against Columbia. That was 76 for Keystone, who had moved. It was Aiden Wright, but instead it is offsides against Columbia. The left side of that defensive front trying to get a head start. It might have been 51, Sam Andrews, the senior at 6'3", $180, trying to get into that backfield early, but he gets caught, and that'll be a 1st down here for Keystone. Ball moves out now to the Wildcat 16-yard line. Cowling in the pistol with 2 backs, 3 receivers. Awaiting the snap here. He takes it. He will give to McKee. No, instead he throws, and that was nearly intercepted. Instead caught by his receiver. He's got the 1st down and more, out across the 30 near the 35 before he finally gets ran out of bounds. So that's a nice pitch and catch there. I think that's Gurich over there on that far sideline. Yes, it is Bobby Gurich. Boy, near pick 6 there, Ron. That
by
ball
Peyton
from
Litke.
Yeah, that was a dangerous ball from Colt Cowling.
He played ball, not receiver, and it almost paid off for him.
I mean, man, he's a fraction of a second earlier on that, and this is a 21-0 game. And what do we got now? A face mask to be tacked on at the end of that play going against Columbia. So now it's the Raiders kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, as Keystone has picked up some good penalty yardage this drive on top of everything else. And just like that, they're out near midfield. That ball now spotted at the 48-yard line. And so Keystone still down just 2 scores. You got 11:03 in this fourth quarter to work with. Making good progress on this drive, but they've done that numerous times tonight, just haven't been able to punch it in. Cowling in the pistol again. 3 receivers, 2 backs. He takes it. He'll pitch it out to McKee. McKee running. McKee breaks 2 tackles. Now he's off and loose. Here he goes. McKee across the 30. Defender falls down. McKee's going to score. Touchdown, Keystone. Wyatt McKee, 52 yards to the end zone, and he got some great blocking downfield. I want to say that was Caleb Scott, the receiver.
Scott. Yes.
And it was, and that helped pave the way for Wyatt McKee, sprinting 52 yards up the near sideline into the end zone, and just like that, it's a one-possession game. What a run, what blocking. And there it was, Ron. You've said it time and time again. Wyatt just 1 or 2 broken tackles away from doing just that. And finally, it came to fruition for the Wildcats. And what do we got? Another sideline warning against Columbia. And so that maybe gets enforced on the kickoff. The PA announcer getting some confirmation from the official. So I think that gets enforced here on the extra point attempt. So might we see Keystone go for 2?
I think they were going for 2
anyway. 2 anyway,
yeah.
Okay. So again, McKee, 52-yard dash. And, okay, so Keystone will take the penalty on the kickoff, so they will try the extra point, as that is Hagerman with Scott to hold. Snap is back, hold is down. Hagerman's kick, a line drive is up, and it is good. So, with just under 11 minutes to play here in this fourth quarter, our new score, Columbia clinging now to a 7-point lead. 14-7 Raiders lead Keystone. We'll be right back with more after this timeout.
Hi, Tim Elthorn, Cavs radio voice. We had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
14-7 our score here in LaGrange. Wyatt McKee, a 52-yard touchdown run. Extra point from Brendan Hagerman was good. And Ron Jantz, we got a new football game on our hands here, I think.
Things just got interesting. They really did. And, you know, this is, and we've said it a couple of times tonight, this game, Keystone Columbia, just lends itself to the style of play that's happened tonight, to the lingering opportunities that have happened tonight, to, you know, penalties and turnovers and getting through that and, you know, keeping your eye on what you have in front of you. It's just, it's how this game always seems to be played, and very much like last year's too. This hasn't been a pretty game at all. It hasn't even been a well-played game, I mean, to be honest with you.
You're not wrong.
But it's a real good football game score-wise, and we've got plenty of time for something, you know, special to happen.
Sure. I mean, we've already been a part of some special ball games this year on WEOL. You and I both. You've been a part of some, you know, literal last play spectaculars, myself as well. Just last week on our Stream 2 game over at North Ridgeville, the Rangers squeaking one out over Berea Mid-Park. So might we be in store for another instant classic here tonight in LaGrange. Return here from Columbia, a good one, as the return man gets upended near his own 38-yard line. That was Xavier Hendon. Again, one of those do-it-all type players that we see on both sides. McKee, one of those for Keystone. He punts, he runs the football, he plays defense. Hendon, similar fashion. He'll play both sides of the ball, heavily involved on special teams as well. It's the beauty of small-town football. Both head coaches talked about that a little bit in our pregame show. So now Columbia up just 7. with 10:46 left to play in this ball game. They'll start this drive at their own 38-yard line. Wesley Sanders back in there at quarterback, which is great to see after he was sidelined for a couple of plays last time the Raiders had the football. He'll turn, he'll give to Xavier Hendon, and he gets stood up right near that original line of scrimmage and gets shoved backwards. And, Ron, you could just kind of sense the energy change right now. That Keystone defense, even the sideline right below us, it's a little more energy for the folks in purple here tonight.
Well, you know, that big touchdown run has certainly inspired them, but Keystone's defense all night long. I mean, this is a Columbia offense that averages 36 points per game and 282 yards rushing per game. But Keystone's defense all night long has held them in check. And they are the reason that broken tackle, long touchdown run, couple of second spurt has put them in an opportunity to maybe win this football game if they can put another drive together.
That's all you can ask, as Jose Rivera takes this one, and he gets tripped up trying to bounce that one up the far sideline. He couldn't quite turn that corner. And again, great defense being played there. McKee, I think, was one of those guys in purple went on the stop as Rivera was halted before he could get too deep into that second level. So a pickup of about 2 there maybe for Jose Rivera. It's going to be 3rd and long, so huge 3rd down, needless to say, Ron, for both the Columbia offense and this Keystone defense, who has a chance to give it right back to their offense and go up against what would be a very tired Columbia Raider defense. 3rd and 7 for Columbia at their own 42. Sanders fakes the pitch. Under some pressure, flicks it downfield, and it is incomplete as it bounced into his receiver's hands, who came sliding down to his knees to try to make that catch, and he was unable to do so. I think that was Lidke on that far sideline, and no, check that. That was Andrew Sorensen, number 11, but it's incomplete. But we do have a flag in the backfield, and is this going to be against Keystone? Roughing the passer will go against the Wildcats. Sanders was under some heavy duress, and he took one big shot earlier tonight, and he took another big one there. This one a little too late in the eyes of the officials. Don Griswold, you can see him in front of us, not thrilled with that play or with that flag. You see him on the bottom of our screen there, just above the ticker. And so, oh man, just like that. I mean, you think you got to stop there if you're the Keystone defense, and just like that, you got to go right back out there and try to make another one happen.
Well, they would have been punting from their own 40, and now they're 1st and 10 from Keystone's 43-yard line.
Sanders, after a series of fakes, gives it to Rivera, and he muscles his way off right tackle for a couple of yards, past the 40, shy of the 35, near that 38-yard line, we'll call it. So
the game is moments of opportunities, whether you take advantage of them or not, every game, and that penalty, Rocco, I feel, has given Columbia an opportunity to close this thing out.
Yeah.
There's 8 minutes and 45 seconds left, so that's a long time. But if Columbia methodically just 3 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards at a time marches down, they can close this thing out.
On 2nd and 5, it's Hendon on the carry, right back up the gut. He pushes the pile forward near the 1st down marker, and I think he's got it. He is at the 33, and he indeed has it, says the guys in stripes. So a 1st down run there for Columbia.
4 yards.
And Ron, I mean, just from a momentum and confidence standpoint, I mean, the start of that this Columbia drive, I should say, it didn't look great. I mean, you got stood up at the line of scrimmage.
No, but the penalty changed everything.
Exactly. I think for Columbia, that just kind of relieved a little bit of that pressure that you were feeling all of a sudden.
Those first 3 plays of this drive were awful for Columbia.
Keystone was all over it, and now Keystone all of a sudden finds themselves on their heels a little bit. You got to put the pressure back down and try to stop Columbia.
And back to that mental toughness, that's a mark for Columbia of mental toughness.
Sure.
They just put all of that nonsense, negative energy behind them and said, here's an opportunity. Let's take advantage of it. Let's not let this one slip.
Sanders on the give to his tailback. He's past that line of scrimmage up near the 30. May have just gotten past it to the 29. So gain of about 4 there for the Columbia ball carrier. Sets up 2nd and medium as we're under 7:40 left to play in this contest. And Ron, you're exactly right with that talk about an opportunity here. If you take some more time off this clock and end up finishing this drive with some points, make this a 2-possession game once again, Keystone's going to be hard pressed for time to try to come back in this football game at that point. But first thing first for Columbia, you got to get those points on the board. Sanders looks over for the new play call from head coach Mike Rice. Again, he is also the offensive coordinator. Opposite for Keystone, Grizz, the head coach, calls the defense. Sanders keeps this one on by himself, and maybe a bad decision there as he gets swallowed up in the backfield. He kept it after faking the initial handoff to the up back and then thought about pitching it to Andrew Sorensen, but given how some of those option pitches have gone tonight, Ron, I think ultimately a wise decision there for Sanders just to take his loss.
I think it was a great decision by Sanders to take the loss because Kyle Hurley was in a position. He played that play so well that I think Hurley, if Sanders pitches it, picks it off. And Hurley was in a position to pick that off or tackle Sanders all at the same time. And Sanders, I think, for a sophomore, made a great decision. Just live for another play.
Well, and how many people in white would have been in front of Hurley going the other way? 0 would be the answer to that. We'd be having ourselves a tie football game. Sanders here on 3rd and long, fakes the pitch, now rolls out, just fires it deep downfield. He's got a couple of receivers, and it's in and out of a couple of hands, and ultimately falls incomplete. He had 2 receivers downfield. Sorensen one of those receivers, along with, I think, it might have been 13, Ryan Smith, the tight end, not sure, but either way, a couple of bodies downfield for Columbia. You had a couple of cats back defensively in coverage. That falls incomplete, but did we have another flag get thrown on the play that I missed? That was 3rd down, as the officials will conversate here. One of those officials, or 2 of them, are over there, I think, on that far sideline talking to Mike Rice. And, oh, boy, what do we got here? I mean, another penalty for Keystone, and this home sideline might lose it. Had a couple go against them already here tonight in some big spots. And let's see.
They're going to mark it off on Keystone.
Personal foul against Keystone. Did they get roughing the passer again? And I'm not sure. I mean, my eyes go downfield the second Sanders releases that football. So I don't know, Jared, if you saw something I didn't, or I'm not sure. But that's one of those where, I mean, you got to give the defense a little bit of leeway because Sanders is rolling out. He's throwing it last second. I mean, I know it's not the NFL with that kind of high-speed collision that you get, but it's hard for any athlete at any level to slow down last second and not, finish a tackle on a guy that he absolutely intended to tackle. And I don't know. Nonetheless, personal foul against Keystone. 1st down for Columbia. The turn, the give to the tailback. It's Rivera. Rivera spinning through tacklers. Flag gets thrown way from behind toward that line of scrimmage. And let's see what this will be. Rivera a little slow to get up after that play. And that'll be a hold against Columbia. So Rivera still limping around a little bit. And not sure if he'll need a breather or what, but it'll be a hold against Columbia, and we're down to 6:06 left to play. So both sides now with some ill-advised penalties, or poorly timed, I guess I should say, with, again, the Keystone defense. They need to stop. Columbia, they're trying to make this a 2-score game. It's kind of become a war of attrition here in this 4th quarter. And so that football gets backed up to the 25, and this will now be a 1st and 18 rather, situation here for Columbia. But still in Wildcat territory.
Well, and they're in no hurry. I mean, the Raiders are, they're fine with the pace of this football game
clock
right now
tick, yeah.
because they're still holding the football.
5:40 and counting in this contest. Sanders under center. Man in motion here. He'll fake it to him. Now he's looking downfield. Sanders floats it out wide to the right and over the head of Peyton Lidke. That one falls incomplete. So right idea. He was looking deep downfield to his first read, but he was swallowed in double coverage, and so Lidke was the check down, but Sanders unable to hit him. 2nd and long now, 2nd and 18 for Columbia at the Wildcat 25-yard line. And for Keystone, that's good because 2nd and long, and the clock stops.
Yeah, incomplete pass is Keystone's best friend right now.
5:32 left in this contest. And what's been a good one here for control of the Lorain County League. Man in motion here, Sanders. He will pitch it to him, and not much room there for Xavier Hendon as he tried to use what little blocking he had in front of him, and the Keystone defense rallied well to the football, and so short gain there for Hendon. Again, Ron, I mean, we've said it a lot. Keystone defensively, they're flying around.
2 linebackers, Ole and McKee. John Falte or John Falte, rather, the defensive down lineman, does such a great job of drawing so much attention from blockers that he allows. I mean, literally, John Falte should be credited for an assist on almost every tackle, because he takes on so many blockers that he allows McKee and Ole and Gurich and Ruby to make the tackles that they've made all night long.
How about this? A halfback pass. Rivera chucking one high and deep for the end zone, and it's incomplete, and that's going to draw. Look at all these flags fly. 4 get thrown, as that'll be pass interference against the Wildcats. Caleb Scott along with Shane Ole were the 2 back in coverage.
Well, it was Brendan Hagerman that
was it Hagerman?
Yeah, that's going to get the penalty. He face guarded the entire time. So you put your arms up in the air and your hands, and if you don't turn back towards the ball,
you have to turn.
And he never turned back.
So Jacob Rust, I believe, was the intended receiver. He had the 62-yard catch and run earlier tonight to kickstart the scoring.
I think it's a good call. We had a great angle from our spot right here in the press box. And, you know, I know that the Keystone faithful aren't happy with it right now, but Hagerman never turned around.
Well, and really, it's their own undoing. I mean, I don't think any of these penalties, I mean, I guess if we went back and looked at some of the roughing the passer calls, maybe we'd feel differently. Again, I didn't get great looks at those, but that one for sure, Ron, I think fairly textbook DPI. Like you said, you're kind of just face guarding the receiver. You don't turn for the football. So if you make any kind of contact, that's, you know, an easy defensive pass interference call, and that was the case there. So now it'll be 3rd and 3, they'll say, for Columbia. Ball at the Wildcat 11-yard line. Here on the carry is Hendon looking for the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Columbia. That's Jose Rivera, not Hendon. Jose Rivera turning that left corner, finding his way into the end zone, and just like that, Columbia has taken control once again of this football game. It is 20-7 Raiders with 4:29 left to play in this football game, but great blocking there from the left side of that Columbia offense.
Well,
Ron.
and great work by Wesley Sanders, the quarterback. That was a true example of the triple option, because Rivera was the 3rd option in that play. There were 2 fake handoffs in different directions by the quarterback, Sanders, and then Rivera got it on the 3rd option. And there was nobody around. That was an easy touchdown with his speed.
Extra point from Washburn is up and good. And so with 4:29 left to play here in LaGrange, Keystone in some trouble. They trail Columbia 21-7. We'll be right back. It's the WEOL Gridiron Clash live on WEOL.com. Also on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, this month you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Mick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
So Jose Rivera, an 11-yard touchdown run for Columbia. The extra point from Washburn, good. Makes this a 21-7 ball game with less than 4.5 minutes left to go. And for Keystone, that defensive drive, just backbreaking. You had, I don't know, 3 or 4 different opportunities or times where you thought you had made the stop and gotten off the field. Instead, some costly penalties extend that drive for Columbia and extend it all the way into the end zone, as Rivera punctuates that with that touchdown run, and now a 2-score game, as this one is fielded by Keystone, but not before this whistle blows the play dead. And do we have a false start here on the Columbia kickoff unit? Yes, we do. You could hear the folks below us hooting and hollering for that one to be called, and it was. So Columbia will have to do it once again from 5 yards deeper.
I think you really have to credit Columbia for recognizing opportunity on that last drive.
Yeah.
You know, they kept getting a gift, and they didn't waste it. You know, and that says something about their ability to, you know, put behind them the inability, really, on several opportunities on that drive to not get yards. And then when they got that, that second and third and even fourth chance on that drive, they took advantage of it.
Well, and this is one of those games where, and you've said it, right? I mean, you're going to be given a couple of opportunities, not as many as other weeks, right, when you're maybe facing lesser competition. But when these two sides meet up, you're going to be given select opportunities to try to capitalize and, make points happen or make a big defensive play happen or whatever. And it was Columbia so far tonight doing a better job of capitalizing on those mistakes. Here comes McKee on the return. McKee looking to squeeze through traffic, and he gets wrestled down shy of his 40.
Another
and
penalty
wouldn't
flag.
you know it, another piece of laundry hits the grass in front of us.
That could be a late face mask.
Is it? Okay.
Let's see.
McKee was grappling with the tackler there for Columbia. Didn't see who made the stop for the Raiders, but let's see. Official who threw that flag would have had a pretty good look at it. So let's see. Again, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning for our Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared and myself will talk to the winning coaches from around Lorain County tonight. Look at that playoff picture. And it is a face mask going against the Raiders. So, look, if you're Keystone, obviously your backs are way, way up against it at this juncture. But you'll take any kind of positive yardage that you can, whether you earn it or whether it's given to you by way of penalty. And you still got
one hand off to number one from another touchdown.
Right, and you still got 4.5 minutes. You still got 2 timeouts. All is not lost for Keystone quite yet, but you got to make things happen, and you got to make those things happen in a hurry. So Colt Cowling breaks the huddle. 4 wide receivers set, 2 to either side. McKee in the backfield with him. Columbia calling out some things defensively, and a false start, I think is what they were calling out as a matter of fact. And that one will go against Keystone. So the Wildcats, it's been 1 step forward, 2 steps back at times for them tonight, Ron. It's just they can't get out of their own way here. So it will be a false start going against the Cats.
Yeah, it's been if you're a Keystone football fan, coach, player, it's been a frustrating night.
And I think the most frustrating part about it is, obviously with the first place in the conference on the line, ultimate bragging rights, right, all that good stuff. But you're better than this, right? I mean, Don Griswold knows his team is able to execute at a better level than what they've displayed tonight. But they just haven't been able to put it all together here. Cowling takes the snap in the pistol, fires deep across the middle. He's got a man open. It's Taylor who catches it. He's got some room to run, and he's finally brought down past the 35 near that 30-yard line. So a nice pickup there for Zach Taylor, about a 19-yard gain for that young man. He's performed well here tonight. And this Keystone sideline back to life a little bit. They're on the move, the offense once again, into Raider territory at their 30 with 4:15 left to go. But you got to hurry.
It was Xavier Hendon that made the big tackle.
Okay.
Otherwise, Taylor goes in for a touchdown.
Yeah, he nearly broke that Hendon tackle, but Hendon able to hang on and bring him down. Another screen play set up here to Taylor. Taylor loses his footing and then gets spilled down at the 35-yard line, so he ends up losing about 3 or 4 yards there. Zach Taylor would have been better off just kind of letting that one fall incomplete. So in reverse, once again, goes the Keystone offense. Second and about 14 now. Ball spotted at the Raider 34-yard line. We're down to 3:40 and counting left in this fourth quarter. Cowling in the pistol, 3 receivers, 2 backs, 1 to his left, 1 behind him. Cowling takes that pistol snap. He will give to Wyatt McKee. McKee bounces off 1 tackle, then falls forward. He's out to about the 32-yard line. So
Jose Rivera knocked him right off his feet.
Yeah. It's a good tackle by Rivera, a much-needed tackle by Rivera, as you certainly don't want to give up anything big and explosive to Keystone at this juncture. You just need 3 minutes of sound defense to leave LaGrange with a win and maintain first place in the Lorain County League. Keystone with 3 minutes to do something about that, though. Cowling takes the pistol snap. Cowling under some pressure. Floating backwards in the pocket now, scrambling away, and just has to float this one out of bounds to his own sideline, and that'll bring up 4th and long. So nothing doing there for Colt Cowling. Jose Rivera in hot pursuit of him alongside a couple of teammates. Ryan Smith, one of those others in white, giving pursuit.
That was a very senior-like play for the sophomore quarterback, Colt Cowling. And what I mean by that is the decision. I mean, he's facing a sack that he's going to lose almost 15 yards, and he saw out of the corner of his eye Wyatt McKee, and McKee was actually in the area where he threw that football. It was out, on the sideline, but McKee wasn't far away. And that was a big, heady leadership play by the sophomore quarterback.
So got to have it here on 4th and 12. Cowling floats one up, and it's incomplete. No shot there for Gurich. He was consumed by the double coverage of Carter Dooley and Peyton Lidke. And that'll be a turnover on downs. And with 2:43 left to go, Keystone down to just 2 timeouts. You can see some of the body language on display by some of these Cats, and you certainly understand that frustration. They sense that they might just be out of time and out of luck here tonight against this Columbia Raider team that, give them credit, Ron. It wasn't pretty at all at most junctures here tonight, but they made the plays when necessary. They capitalized on the opportunities that were presented to them. And, I think it's worth saying they made fewer mistakes. I mean, Keystone made some mistakes. Columbia made some mistakes, but Keystone just made more of them and in some really inopportune times. So Columbia a chance to really hammer this home and put this ball game away, as carrying this one will be Wesley Sanders. Kept it himself, and he marched forward for about 2 yards before being spun down to the grass. So 2nd and 8 now with 2.5 left to play.
Rocco, I think we can, look ahead at this point now. And Keystone, or Columbia next week, is at home against Clairview, and then they finish the season at Firelands. And Firelands, as we stand going into tonight, is in 2nd place in the LC8 with a 3-1 record.
Yep.
Keystone will drop, and they'll fall to 4-1, depending on how Firelands does tonight. They could improve to 4-1, and it could come down to that final week, Week 10, Columbia at Firelands, for either an outright title for the Raiders or a share with the Falcons.
Yeah, Firelands at home tonight against Wellington, and they 44-7. Jared tells me was that a final from there? So Ryan O'Rourke and his guys, I think they'll be, well, either way, they were going to be pleased with the result of tonight's outcome, because you got a chance to put yourself in a conference title contending spot as Rivera carries that one forward back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard, so 3rd and long now. Don Griswold will take one of his final 2 timeouts to stop the clock with 1:36.
Well, here's another wrinkle to that storyline. Firelands plays Keystone next week.
Next week right here in LaGrange, yep.
Yeah, so, whoever wins that game, let's say Firelands beats Keystone, then it's really on, right, in Week 10 with Firelands and Columbia. But let's say Keystone wins the game, and then Keystone's just 1 loss behind Columbia. And Firelands still has an opportunity to knock off Columbia in Week 10. And if you're Keystone, you could come in on the back door and share a title. Even though Columbia beats you head-to-head, they'd still have the same record.
Correct. So, yeah, certainly the plot could thicken here in the closing weeks of regular season play here in the Lorain County League, and that's what makes this conference so much fun.
Jared, I want to thank Lisa Ward again and Jan Flynn again for the cookie bag and cookie tray tonight here.
You did well.
Lisa Ward with the molasses cookies that she knows I love. Gave them to her husband tonight, Jason, and he traveled all the way from Columbia to deliver them, hand-deliver them to me here at Keystone High School tonight.
Service and a smile there. How about that?
And then Jan Flynn's still sitting in front of us.
This will be Sanders on the keeper, and he's got himself a first down, or Hendon, rather, I think, carried that football. It was Xavier Hendon. He's got the first down, and with Keystone down to just 1 timeout, that should be enough for the Raiders to just kneel this ball game out and escape with a victory to maintain their perfect season. They'll move to 8-0 on the campaign, 5-0 now in conference play. For the Cats, they will drop to 5-3 overall, 4-1 now, the one blemish in conference play coming tonight. And I'm sure that Don Griswold and his guys will have an intense Saturday morning film session when they regroup before the JV game tomorrow morning. But man, oh man, just as you said, Ron, not to hammer this one home too much, but there was opportunities. There was opportunities for both sides here tonight, no question. Keystone flirted with points on a number of occasions, came away with 7, but ultimately it was Columbia making the necessary plays to get the victory. And so they will just be one more kneel down away from heading back to Columbia Station with first place in the conference still intact. 30 seconds remaining left.
And to repeat something that we said at the very top, Columbia is 8-0, missing their top 2 offensive players for most of the season.
Isn't that something? No Logan Mangy, no Jimmy Stoffe. Flag gets thrown as that was Wesley Sanders who went screaming toward the sideline in celebration with the football. And so let's see. You got one of the officials talking with Keystone head coach Don Griswold. You'd hope. You'd hope there's no silly, unneeded extracurriculars here in the post-game high-five line. And Grizz, well, it was an emotional game. We'll leave it at that. We love all of our coaches. I'm not going to speak ill on any of them. I know he's fired up for sure. But he gives a good game handshake to the Raider head coaches. Again, a lot of emotion in that contest. No question about that. And you can see it, but I think cooler heads ultimately will prevail here in the post-game handshake line. But frustrating night at home here for the guys in purple, and for those who traveled from Columbia Station. Again, that is a very happy bus ride back home tonight. No question about that. So it's a final here in LaGrange. Keystone falls to Columbia 21-7, our final score. We'll be right back with some post-game thoughts. We'll recap our scoring plays, look at some final scores from around the area, maybe some games still in progress going on. But again, a final here from LaGrange. Keystone takes an L to Columbia. The Raiders roll here in LaGrange 21-7. We'll be right back with the post-game show here on our WEOL.com and Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Game of the Week.
Happy fall and happy football season. Professional football became a fall favorite when it was introduced in 1920. That's 19 years after Ohio Mutual Insurance Group began keeping the promises that secure dreams. Stop in and see us at the Cobos Insurance Center to learn more about Ohio Mutual. Cobos can help you select the right coverage for your needs. Find us online at cobosins.com. If you want to protect your auto, home, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
So it is a final here in LaGrange as Columbia gets one over Keystone 21-7, the final score. What a shot there. Dave Rydell getting the moon with some cloud coverage in front of it. The night sky looking lovely here in Northeast Ohio, and these are the settings, Ron, that high school football is all about, right, my friend? I mean, we talk about it in a number of spots. Black River certainly comes to mind with the fall foliage that goes on, but
look at Rydell. I've got to give him credit. That is a CBS Sports shot right there. That's a beautiful shot, wow. Dave Rydell.
What the heck with CBS? We're WEOL, my friend. That's the standard on here. Nice shot, though, Dave Rydell. Appreciate your efforts in the cold up there on the roof. So,
Rocco, I've got a question.
Uh-huh.
Was that a good football game or a bad football game?
Well, what do we call those, Jared? A good, bad game sometimes? And I know we reference that in other ways.
Because you mentioned several times, and you were right on, it was hard for either offense, I think, to get into a flow tonight because of the constant penalties, the turnovers, and then the long discussions several times. I mean, one was longer than than most. It
Yeah.
lasted, I bet, 15 minutes.
Sure.
So there's that. And that was even hard for us as broadcasters. So what would it be like if you were a player to have all of those stoppages and lengthy, time in between play? No wonder. I think it was a sloppy football game.
Yeah, I would
played
agree.
by two very good football teams. But I don't blame them for it. I just blame the way that it laid out tonight. It was just there was never an opportunity, I think, for anybody to get into the flow of a football game, whether you're a coach calling plays or a player blocking or tackling or running or throwing.
Yeah, just a weird set of circumstances, I think, throughout the game, Ron. And I think you saw some good football performances from some individuals, right? You look at how Wyatt McKee performed at certain junctures tonight. You look at Wesley Sanders, with the exception of some of the errant pitches that he had made, right? But some other guys.
Taylor was real good.
Taylor stood out tonight, no question about that. You had a couple of more guys from Columbia that really stood out. I thought Rivera played well all in all. Jacob Rust obviously had the long scoring catch and run. You had some guys play really well defensively. A.J. Lamb, big number 55. We called his name Ambrose Beach, of course, as well. I mean, there were certainly some positives that you would say, okay, that's some good quality football that we're seeing put on display
point
right
well
there.
taken. You're right about that. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think your point still stands, Ron, to where there were just some weird circumstances and scenarios with the stoppages and kind of some funky-looking turnovers and things like that. That you're right, it wasn't the cleanest, and it kind of felt out of rhythm at times, which can be awkward from a broadcasting standpoint. But ultimately, Columbia, I mean, they made enough winning plays, and they're going to escape with a 21-7 victory. Let's quickly go through the scoring recap. As nothing really doing in the first quarter. Each side fumbled on their opening offensive possession, but it was Columbia striking first in the second quarter. A 62-yard catch and run from Jacob Rust off the arm of Wesley Sanders. The extra point no good, made it 6-0. Later on in that second quarter, a 2-yard touchdown plunge from Xavier Hendon. He also had the 2-point conversion, made it 14-0 at the break, and I think Keystone was fortunate it was that, as Columbia had a late half interception. It was Zach Taylor who intercepted it. But so that would prevent Columbia from extending their lead. It was still 14-0. Keystone quickly striking in that fourth quarter, as it was an empty third quarter. We fast forward all the way to the fourth quarter with about 11 minutes left. Wyatt McKee sprinted 52 yards up this near sideline into the end zone, cut the deficit in half. It was 14-7, but it was Jose Rivera with 4.5 minutes left to go in the contest. An 11-yard touchdown run on the outside sweep play. The extra point good, made it 21-7, and that was your final here tonight in LaGrange. Again, 21-7, the Raiders knocking off the Wildcats. Some scores I think that we'd like to pass on from around the area as well. We've seen them on the ticker below us, so we can certainly take a look at that as well. But some scores that we have seen. Last I saw, Avon was up over Amherst 34-0. That's a final. Clearview rolling past Oberlin 27-0 was the last score I had seen. But that was all the way back in the second quarter, so not sure where that one stands. A final in Avon Lake. The Shoremen fall to North Ridgeville 31-14. The Rangers roll in that one. Firelands a winner over Wellington. 44-7 was the final score. Looks like it was a 42-0 win for Black River over Brookside. The final score there, 33-7, the final for Clearview on top of Oberlin. Holy Name, last we saw, they were beating Elyria Catholic 24-7. That is a final, as Jared tells me. Is that Vermilion with a comeback win over Huron 28-21? Tell you what, Rocco Nuosci's picket line in the Chronicle Telegram is sure excited to see that one. Midview, big-time winners over Elyria. How about the Middies, 41-13? They throttle the Pioneers, and that looks to be about all we have as far as out-of-town scores go. Well, Brunswick rolls over Medina in our Medina County matchup 35-7. The final there. Strongsville also upends Lorain 29-6. So not too many surprises, I wouldn't say score-wise. I didn't think North Ridgeville would run away from Avon Lake in the fashion that they did tonight, but elsewhere around the county, I don't think too many big surprises. A good win for Vermilion over Huron. Tell you what, Vermilion, they had a couple of tough losses this year. One against Elyria Catholic that I don't think people expected, and then one against Norwalk that I don't think people expected. So that's a real nice bounce-back win for them tonight to knock off Huron in the way that they did. So
yes, it is. Will you have Bill DeFucci on tomorrow morning with you?
We sure will. We'll shoot him a text later and see what kind of availability he might have for us. So,
Rocco, here's what I want to know before you sign off tonight.
Sure.
Will or will not Jared Kozar be wearing a sports coat and dress shirt tomorrow morning on the wrap-up show.
Negative 5% chance that happens. Yeah, that's you can take that one to the bank. You could bet the mortgage. You could bet the life savings. Whatever else you want to throw into the gambling pot, my friend, you could put that on the line and take full confidence in that Jared will have not just a lack of sport coat and dress shirt, but rather I can tell you what he will have on, and that is the standard red Ohio State quarter zip for game day. I mean, that's kind of
it's good.
You got to look bright and cheery, right, on a Saturday morning. So I'll of course have my finest Akron gear on. So that'll certainly be fun. But as Ron said, yeah, tomorrow morning, 9 to 11, Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show will be live at the CT. You can find us right here on WEOL.com and also on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. All right, Ron, any final thoughts from you, my friend, before we say our thank yous and goodbyes?
No, I think I pretty much, wrapped it up. Still wondering, was that a bad football game or a good football game?
Well, sleep on it and shoot me a text on your travels tomorrow.
There was never a moment of flow, I think.
I agree.
From all sides.
I agree.
Players, coaches, referees, broadcasters. I mean, it was an odd night.
I blame you for the latter, Mr. Bag of cookies, box of cookies, or tray of cookies, this, that, and the other. Made the Hollywood tour around the track beforehand. So, no, all in all, a really fun night here in LaGrange. Not so much for the Wildcat faithful. Again, Columbia, a winner here, 21-7, your final score. Again, some thank yous to hand out before we say goodbye tonight. First and foremost, Jeff Holzhauer, athletic director here at Keystone, kind enough to let us come out, do our site testing throughout the week, get us a spot here in the press box. Big thanks to both head coaches, Don Griswold for Keystone, stats, roster, starters, all that good stuff. Same thing for Mike Rice over at Columbia, getting us all that good stuff. Hopefully we'll have Mike Rice tomorrow on the wrap-up show. Big thanks to our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. Our halftime sponsor was Cobos Insurance Center, your Ohio Mutual Insurance Group agent. Lorain County Community College, real education for good jobs. And, of course, our friends over at 468 Cleveland Street in Elyria. That's none other than Stewart's TV and Appliance. Yes, Ron?
And I want to thank Lisa Ward for my molasses cookies and Jan Flynn for a mountain of variety, including peanut butter.
Well, how many more are gone since we turned around last? Are there 3 more gone out of there? So you're down to you're rationing those things out here. Yeah.
Zach Sprague.
Man, yeah. Zach Sprague deserves a shout-out as well, right? Coming in, taking all of this in, a Midview grad, now student at Lorain County Community College. He's got an interest in broadcasting, and we're certainly glad to have him on hand here tonight. So for everybody here at Keystone, for my partner Ron Jantz, for cameraman extraordinaire Dave Rydell, for producer extraordinaire Jared Kozar, and for Zach Sprague on site with us here tonight, I'm Rocco Nuosci saying one more time your final here from LaGrange. Columbia, a winner over Keystone 21-7. Have a great Friday night, everybody. Stay safe. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show at 9.